It's mock draft season, which means it's collab season. I got my good buddy, Alex, Hail Mary Sports, which you already know that means we're going to be doing a lot of rounds. We're going to be doing 3 rounds today. I'm going to take the NFC. He's going to take the AFC. You might be like, hey, that's weird. Why are y'all doing it that way? Because we're planning on turning this into a 7-round mock draft. So you better hit that thumbs up. You better do it. We're putting in a ton of work. You know what? I'm done talking, Alex. Introduce yourself to the people.
Hello there. If you guys like mock draft content, I do similar stuff, so feel free to go hang out. We're going to be doing our draft live stream per usual every single year. Super excited for that. And yeah, the 7-rounder, we were like, it's a beast. It might be nice to like divvy it up a little bit, have a good amount of time without getting a lot of fatigue. That's exactly what we're going to do today.
That's right. It is a beast. It is not Dane Brugler, the beast, but you're going to be starting us off with the first overall pick and actually the second overall pick. So I'll let you go ahead, and I'm going to be ready to react at pick 3.
Oh, yeah, I know. I'm excited because I've never done one of these with AFC and NFC, but let's get through it. Raiders, we're going Fernando Mendoza. Let's not throw any fun curveballs. I don't even know if it'll be a fun curveball at that point. We're at the point where it's like 99.9% confidence to where it would just be a waste of all of our time. Let's talk a little bit more about number 2, though. If you want to dig into other options at 1, I don't think we got a lot of picks to go through.
Let's not burn this mock draft already.
No. Number 2, New York Jets. So I'm glad that people are finally getting back on the Ruben Bain hype train. But I do believe that, DeMario Davis's signing there in New York kind of makes me feel like with Joseph Asai's, it feels like they're mitigating whether Reese would end up being a full-time edge or a linebacker. And either way, he's going to succeed in that role. Maybe it's over-analysis. Maybe it's not. I think the lack of bend is it's the difference between someone who's just starting to do these drills versus somebody who has been doing them for a long time. And personally, I'm not going to take too much of an account into what a bag drill looks like versus what it looks like on the field. And both these guys are very much worth considering at this point. 2-inch longer arms. I'm going Arvell Reese.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping Arvell Reese made it to the Cardinals pick.
Absolutely not. I love Ruben Bain, though. Don't get me wrong. I have Ruben Bain higher than Arvell. If it was solely what I would do, which if we were doing 1 or 2 rounds, maybe we could have fun with that.
Yeah.
This is a 7-rounder. Let's hybrid it a little bit.
Yeah. Now, let me talk through this with you real quick.
Okay.
Because I know a popular mock spot for the Cardinals is offensive tackle. I don't fall into line with that. In my head, I'm like, let's take the next edge.
Sure.
Question is, Ruben Bain, is he too much of an outlier? Is he too similar to maybe what they did with a Darius Robinson, a guy that could play inside and out, and it just hasn't quite worked? Me personally, I don't care. I like Ruben Bain. I watched the tape.
Yeah.
I love the player. I think he'd be a-okay. I think he'd be a good, not just a versatile piece for that defense, but he would be a good Batman let's call him a Robin for now. He'd be a good Robin for Josh Sweat. I don't want to do Josh Sweat like that. Dude's kind of a stud.
That's fair enough.
Let me hear you out. Try to talk me out of edge here. Do you think tackle should go here?
I will talk you into edge for this one reason.
Okay, need not say.
Well,
okay, fine. Give me.
Go for it.
No.
Yeah, I was going to add something else. Josh Sweat, in his prime years, had Brandon Graham, which kind of a lot of people like to comp Ruben Bain to. So
that's a good point.
That's
a phenomenal point. So I already sent it. You're back on the clock with pick 4. Or how I would like to say the most controversial pick in this draft.
Not for me.
Yeah.
So you and I, we've had our battles on text over this selection here. I'm going to select Jeremiah Love, running back out of Notre Dame. It also is in combination with the factor that I'm not as high on David Bailey as a lot of other individuals. So maybe that's a big reason why I think of this so much as black and white. But they've done a lot in free agency to help out the defense. So it looks strategically like they want to fill their holes there. On top of that, they also do lack firepower on offense. This class doesn't really have a top of the draft group of wide receivers unless Jordan Tyson were extremely healthy that have that potential that Jeremiah Love does. So you are getting in upgrading a very valuable position for your most important investment, which is your QB. And Jeremiah Love, he is essentially on that Jahmyr Gibbs level of talent and role that you don't necessarily find that skill set every single draft. So it's not like next year you're going to see a Jeremiah Love, unless Isaac Brown ends up becoming a superstar, which he already is, but to this level.
Yeah, I've kind of put my spiel out there. I get it, down class. It's down class in terms of the premium positions. You're not seeing really a lot of elite talent there, but I'd still rather swing for that. I think it's just more valuable. I think if you draft running back here, it's just shown that you're probably developing that guy for the next team. But I get it.
Fair.
I mean, I get that I'm not the running back guy. I love running backs. I'm just not the guy to take them early like this. So
move over, not the expert and that franchise guy. We have not the running back guy.
Not the running back guy. Right. So New York Giants, I like the idea of Sonny Styles here just because Micah McFadden. You could do better than that, but I think you could also make the case for another Ohio State guy here, Caleb Downs. Now, Tyler Nubin, I want to give that dude a shot, right? This is a new regime. They don't have to do that. They have no ties for Tyler Nubin. So if they want to bring in Downs because they think he is the best player in this class, then shoot, go ahead, move right along. I think, I'm not going to lie to you, I wouldn't mind thinking Mansour Delane here.
I was going to throw that.
Oh, were you going to throw that?
Mm.
I don't know if I'm ready to jump that high up my board, but
where's Delane?
Delane, well, it's okay. He's at 12.
Okay. By the way, you guys go pay the $30 for his big board. I'm not going to ask too many questions for the fact that I don't want to screw over your premium.
No, you're fine. I love this discussion. And it's not just a big board. There's rankings, there's evals, there's numbers that sometimes
really good background too.
Yeah, I almost got background on every player that I have in there. I added a few that I just haven't got into yet, but I think I'm probably going to lean with Caleb Downs here.
Okay.
I just think he's that good of a player. You can make the same case for Sonny Styles, but I think in terms of transition into the NFL, we see a lot of rookie linebackers take a minute, and sometimes it's not until their second deal that it clicks. It's just such a high IQ, just cerebral position that
very tough to translate.
Yeah, exactly. So I just think Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs, he'll make that immediate impact wherever they want to play him. He's versatile like that.
Yeah, fair enough. I have Caleb Downs as my best player overall, so I'm not going to push back on that. And defensive coordinator was the defensive backs coach under John Harbaugh back when he was over at the Ravens. So, number 6, Cleveland Browns. Back to the AFC before you end up getting taken over for the next 2 picks. Very unique position, not one that I'm really in love with because I like CeCe Maui Noah. I would just prefer to take an actual left tackle over, I know a lot of people used to go Spencer Fano here and be like, oh, we could switch him. The problem is with Zion Johnson signing, I'm not a huge fan of the guarantees on that for the fact that it is basically 1.5 year guarantee.
Yeah,
right?
It's something like that, but it's still going to eat into $5 million dead cap the next 2 years or something like that.
Right.
So 2 years after.
Tough to get rid of him. Right. It's tough to get rid of him. So it's if Maui Noah fails at tackle, then, we can kick him to guard. It's maybe that would be the role that would be taken. And then you have Elton there. Good job by the organization to patch their needs. This, in my opinion, is a prime trade down spot to get 2027 capital. But personally, I do think that you got to go after the best player available. Here's going to be what a curveball is that I'm going to throw in. I've never done this pick, but I do think this has logic to it because the Browns organization, their best corner that they've had in a while is Denzel Ward. And they took him extraordinarily high. Uh-oh, what?
I'm letting you cook, bro.
I'm just saying.
I'm the Toy Story meme, dude. Let him cook.
Sometimes you just have to stick to your strengths and understand your weaknesses This is a new head coach that's coming into here, but if you're going to build this defense to make sure that when Jim Schwartz is not there, it maintains its level of production, having a weakness outside of your corner one probably is going to be an issue.
Now, they do have Tyson Campbell, who was all right last year.
He was all right, exactly. But I'm talking about Delane is a whole different tier. So I'm going to be going Mansour Delane here because I do think unless you trade down, there's so many guys that you have to end up putting in special situations that Mansour Delane doesn't need to be in to where I can justify it. And again, for me, Mansour is my number 2 player in the class unless Jordan Tyson's healthy. So
interesting.
Curveball.
That is
it is very possible. Like a top tier corner can go this high.
Oh no, I 100% agree. That can happen. Again, we're doing a 3-round mock, so it'll be interesting to see how everything kind of breaks down from here on out for the Browns.
It's going to bite me in the ass in the next round, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Washington Commanders, they don't have very many picks in this draft, I believe. Yeah, their next pick's at 71, and then they go to 147. So I think I want to hit on a premium position. As good as Sonny Styles is and that combine performance was, and how great you could argue he was the best player on the Ohio State defense last year, but I think you just had, I can't remember. I think it was the coaching staff was like, oh, we're content with, even if Bobby Wagner doesn't come back, we're content with our linebacker position. Could be bullcrap. But I think if you're going to help out Jaden Daniels, what was he really good at LSU? He was a great deep ball passer. Carnell Tate's that dude. Whether you comp him to George Pickens or T. Higgins, he expanded that vertical route tree this season, and he looked hella good. He has the best hands in this class. So I'm gonna get another Ohio State wide receiver to pair up with Scary Terry.
I respect it. I mean, again, last time they went to Ohio State for a high-end receiver, ended up working out for quite a while. So really happy with that one because very similar to, it's a similar argument for the Titans. It's like you're investing in your most important asset, even if there's some other options that are valid on the table.
Yeah. Now, this puts me in a pickle because I would have loved Mansour Delane for the Saints. I would have loved Carnell Tate for the Saints. I could just forego it and take Mekhi Lemon because I love Mekhi Lemon that much. But I do think pass rush was a problem for the Saints last year. You have David Bailey here, and I get it. There's going to be concerns with the run defense, but Carl Granderson's a really good run defender. You're hoping to get healthy Chase Young. You just want to be able to get to the passer, and I think this team was among the worst in the league when it came to actually hitting the quarterback. So getting guys that could actually hit home, and David Bailey is that dude. I mean, shoot, this past season, he had, pulling it up here,
some crazy stats for sure.
Yeah, 23 quarterback hits.
Just 23% win rate.
Yeah. I mean,
not true pass rush. That's base.
Yeah. True. The true pass rush win rate was at close to 40. So yeah. No.
So 100% like midseason. It was funny.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I'm going to lean with David Bailey here.
He's such a good fit in a Brandon Staley defense too.
Yeah.
I was curious what I would do if you took David Bailey there because, like, I really do like the fact that you took him to New Orleans because you look in division as well. What did the Falcons do last year? They fixed their edge problem by drafting 2 extremely high. You look at the Panthers, they drafted 2 and then just acquired a 3rd. Like, your in division is getting stronger at the edge core. You can't be the one who's lacking. So I respect it. It's a good way to go about it.
We love the NFL draft, and now my draft guide is available for purchase. It comes with over 500 player backgrounds and close to 300 player evals. It updates throughout the whole draft cycle. So when I add a new eval or I change my rankings, you're going to be the first to know. It's going to have all the pro day and combine numbers along with analytics. And it's a Google spreadsheet for right now. So you have to include your email with the purchase, but we will be switching over to a website at the end of the year. And if you get it now, it's going to be cheaper now than it will be later. It's a great way to support the channel. And as always, much appreciated, much obliged.
What am I going to do with the Chiefs?
Yeah, well, you took Mansour Delane, so that's
I know.
That's on you now.
I know.
Bud.
Yeah, it's kind of exciting. I can't lie. Maui No is definitely something I would consider. I know Jalen Moore's being paid, And like, that's the big concern. It's like, oh, we actually want him to start. There's a certain point where it's like, oh, if you're, let's just say, I don't want to throw Jared Goff's name in there. I'm trying to think of like a low tier quarterback that was getting paid, but insert and like number 20 overall quarterback in the NFL that's getting paid. Daniel Jones. Maybe even worse. And then you end up seeing when Daniel Jones is working well, you end up seeing Tom Brady come along. You take Tom Brady, right? Like there's always a reason to upgrade. I'm not saying that's the same situation here, but it is something where you should at least consider it. My reason I won't go with Maui Noah to the Chiefs is because I think their interior is pretty set. That's the fallback for Maui Noah. I just don't trust that the value would be there. You have a counter for that?
Receiver?
Oh, I thought you were I was saying like for the offensive line. Because I definitely think receivers on the market.
No, because I think you were hitting the nose, the nail on the head. Let's go with that. But hitting it right on the nose. The offensive line, while sure there may be concerns, I'm sure they're confident in Jalen Moore coming back. I'm sure they have some sort of faith in Wanya Morris. And if that's like the worst players on your offensive line, you're probably in relatively good shape, even though it is at the tackle position. I believe in Jalen Moore make a comeback. He got banged up last year. So I think I would go elsewhere.
Yeah. So I'm not going to be going the offensive line there. Part of me looks at Sonny Styles. It's like, you've lost Leo Chanel. Could you just use like Sonny Styles as a super like insane variant?
Didn't they restructure Drew Tranquil's contract too?
I believe so, yeah. And then they obviously re-signed last year, Missouri linebacker. Why am
Nick Bolton, baby.
Bolton.
Love Nick Bolton.
So it's a bad spot. I can't lie. And honestly, I don't like any of the guys here. I'm tempted to just go Jordan Tyson and deal with the injury concerns because their guys are off the field, whether it's injury or legal concerns. So it's like, they're kind of accustomed to it. But you know what? They're going to go Mekhi Lemon. I know I'm going to do it for you. But on top of that, just so you guys know, I'd be trying to pull a trade out as much as I can.
Oh, yeah.
Mekhi Lemon's a great talent. I mean, he really is a great separator at all levels. Even though he's not going to burn you with speed deep, he's going to be able to get into your blind spot, manipulate, the defender to where he can generate separation. And that's really good to have. He's rock solid with his contested catching, even at that size. He's going to be a really good target to throw 100+ balls to a year.
Yeah, I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's why everyone's making that comparison there.
Yeah.
So you are the next two picks.
Oh, my God. I do have the next two picks. Okay, for the Bengals, I'm so excited. Sonny Styles is probably the option I'm going with here. Just simply put, their linebacking core, even though they drafted a couple, still can use some help. And if you can get a super upgrade like Sonny Styles, it's kind of hard to say no. So I'm going to go Sonny. Just when BPA falls into your lap, you take it.
Honestly, for that Bengals pick, could be a lot worse. Typically, you don't see a lot of these top defenders here.
No, well, the thing is, I almost wanted to shoot myself in the foot and not take Sonny Styles to the Bengals because I love his fit for Miami, using him as Adrian Cooper. I'm like, give me that role right there, Jeff Hafley's system. But womp womp. I'm going to go Maui Noah here for the Dolphins. It's a short-term guard role, 1 year left for Austin Jackson, or you could start him off the bat. Regardless, this is a short and long-term fix for a team that desperately needs it.
Yeah, they stated that, again, it's smoke and mirror season, but yeah, the GM come out and be like, I want to build through the trenches. So we'll see. They need a lot of building in general. This Cowboys pick sucks. This should be a trade down or trade up. I'm just not very content. You have all the top defensive players off the board. Cowboys fans don't believe that they're going to go with an injured prospect at this pick in like Jermon McCoy that Jerry's come out. Oh, I don't want to draft injured players. Jerry also said he was all in like a year ago. So I don't know what to tell you. Jerry says stuff. He just says stuff. But
he doesn't remember it later.
Yeah, right. But if that's not the case here, I believe they currently have Jalen Thompson and Malik Hooker. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
So Dylan Thieneman could be a thought here. I mean, I've seen him as early as 10 to the Bengals. I mean, the other players you're looking at defensive wise are what? TJ Parker, Christian Miller, Peter Woods, Kendrick Falk. Like, I don't know. What does that do? You know?
Do you want to hear so apparently there's an Eagles reporter that is like a former Cowboy scout, and he said from his sources they're going offense with one of their 2 first-round picks. Part of me does believe with how often this team likes to go offensive line in the first, and with the fact that they have a mediocre to complete Cheeks right tackle in Steele, Monroe Freeling is an option. Because they might want to cross-train him for a year.
Fun fact, in my mock with Max Chadwick, I did that.
Oh.
Because
I've done it before.
Literally, you said at this pick, and I'd happily go with Jermon McCoy. Again, he'd have to run poorly for me to really think otherwise.
Yeah.
But there could be a fall there. I'm going to go with Thiemann for now.
Yeah.
I think that might be the safer. I think he probably goes in this area. If he does slip, Vikings might be the floor, but Thiemann's done a lot of good for his
stock.
Yeah, that combine was kind of nutty.
He looked more fluid and explosive than he did on tape, and I kind of chalk that up to either the fact that Oregon can't coach DBs, which is not true. So it's the latter, which is he just trained and maybe learned technique that he just hadn't polished, and I'm happy with that. So, regardless, you still are on the board.
I am. I'm going to run I personally love Omar Cooper. I think he'd be a great fit here.
Okay.
I was also the guy that was talking about Mekhi Lemon at this spot like 2 months prior.
Okay, we both were.
Yeah. Okay.
we had like a fandom.
Well, I mean, everyone and their mom was doing it too. So,
yeah. Well, I still remember our first mock that we ended up doing that, and it's like my pick, and you're like, wait. You like that fit too? I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah, because I think they would love a yak option. They've been looking for a yak option for a long time. But I do think Jordan Tyson just has the higher upside with these with Devontae. There we go. Wow. On the last year of his deal.
Yeah.
And as long as the medicals check out, you're getting a hell of a good receiver. So I'm gonna go with Jordan Tyson here. It's a
big if.
Yeah, right. But I mean, it's a play that you would make in a like when you're challenging for a championship, but it's also a play to the future. I think tackle could also be in consideration with Warren McClendon in his final year.
Yeah. I personally would do this myself with Jordan Tyson. I think it's a great move, but I just don't know if he wasn't healthy for his pro day. He's had a lingering hamstring injury for like 3.5, 4 months.
Yeah.
It's like,
how much does that correlate with the ACL like 3 years ago?
Yeah. I mean, you and I have both been saying this. It's like the injuries are too disconnected to be like, okay, he has a recurring issue, but it's just recurring issues. And it's like, all right, like, what's the reason here? Like, are you not prepping enough? He's training the Heinz Ward. I highly doubt it. Like, I'm pretty sure he's probably training pretty well.
Yeah.
So it's weird. It's weird. But this pick for Baltimore Ravens at 14 is easy for me. Like, I'm sprinting this to the podium. Declan Doyle, like, whenever I think of a guard for Declan Doyle, I think of Joe Thuney. Tackle guard hybrid. That's what Spencer Fano is. I think that he's like a perfect fit right at guard early on. A lot of people want to go Ioane. Ioane doesn't have that tackle versatility. And again, I'm trying to think of the most successful, like most reliable guard that Declan Doyle just recently had. And it was Joe Thuney. And it's not a horrible comp, in my opinion, for Spencer Fano, if you want to make one. But I do like the idea of him playing that role in this offense. Good mobility as well. A lot of polished technique. And he is apparently very close to 33-inch arms. So Combine Gate is back.
Dude, Combine Gate, I can't believe it, dude.
It's crazy. Like, how do they do that?
I've been making this joke in my last few videos. Dude, get David's Bridal out there to do measurements.
Dude, you can get like, who's the one who's blind? Who's the singer who's blind?
Oh my gosh, no, it's not Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, it is.
Ray
Stevie
Charles?
Wonder.
Oh, I guess they're both blind.
I guess they're both blind. Yeah, Ray Charles. And get him out there, probably similar measurements what they give at the combine, which is absurd. But anyways, you got a really big run coming up. So
I do. But don't worry, I'm going to run this pick in. It's Kenyon Sadiq out of Oregon, tight end for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Zach Robinson plays a lot of 12 personnel. I know that they brought back Auden, but listen, he's fine. He's fine. He could play that inline role. You can move Sadiq around. You can keep Ibuka and Godwin on the field, even in those 12 personnel. So I think he's a good fit, and it's kind of tough to figure out landing spots for him specifically. And I think this is one that at least that makes sense.
I think that's fair. Ooh. I wonder what you think. Do you hear the computer fan?
I did hear that.
Yeah, I don't know why it's making an appearance. I know. I just moved, so it's like getting some of the rust off. But I'm curious what you think of Josh Myers. Like, do you think he's somebody who will actually maintain a starting role? Because a lot of people in my comment section who are Jets fans are theorizing that Dylan Parham could be actually a center option for this team.
I mean, maybe, but they extended Myers, didn't they?
I know. So I was curious to see if like maybe they were like the Parham signing was more of like a swing interior than necessarily a starter. And if it were, I would be here for Yowane. I don't believe that's the case.
That's interesting. Because also Tippmann, how in are they on Tippmann for the future?
Right.
Which I think he's fine, but
yeah, he's fine. But regardless, I would throw that idea out there. Regardless, I'm not going to do it. Something I am thinking is this team needs somebody who can produce sooner, because I think Aaron Glenn is probably pretty self-aware of the fact that he's on the hot seat. So we already got one project player in Arvell Reese. I would throw in Jermon McCoy because I love the fit with Aaron Glenn. You think of Brandon Stevens, the physicality that he brings, Azarie Thomas, the physicality he brings. It'd be a great selection. I don't think it returns early enough for me to warrant that selection. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
So we're going to go Omar Cooper Jr. here, wide receiver out of Indiana.
I think that better anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I love Jermon McCoy's fit in this system, but they do lack that reliable two. I love A.D. Mitchell. I think they're the world of A.D. Mitchell. He's not reliable enough at this point of his career to negate a legitimate two. So there you go. And you love Omar Cooper Jr. So,
dude, he's great. Omar Cooper has been my dude since like late November.
Who told you to put him above into number 4 rather than number 5?
That's true. It took a Senior Bowl trip to
it
build
took Mike
up the
Renner
courage.
put him even higher.
Dude, not just him. You had
everybody
Daniel Jeremiah. You had that franchise guy. I'm like, bro. I mean, I think Cooper was still around my top 20. He was like 17 or something.
Yeah,
but I was like, I love him too much, and now all these guys are starting to catch wind.
Every time. I know. It's like every time you start loving somebody, people just start loving them harder. I'm like,
that is literally, I remember Tyler Linderbaum, loving Tyler Linderbaum, and then finding out everyone their mom. Oh, I take him in the top 10. I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, hold on. Never mind. Maybe I don't love him. Listen, if you love a prospect, there's always someone out there who loves them more.
It's true. Just depends on how big of a platform they have, so you can ignore it or not.
Yeah, true.
It's like, dude, if some random like Twitter account likes him, I'm like, okay, I'll be fine. But if like Daniel Jeremiah is loving it harder, or you are, and I'm like, all right, I can't love him anymore. I can't say it's my guy. Yeah, it's like, all right.
So Monroe Freeland, right, is the obvious pick here for the Detroit Lions. They need a replacement for Taylor Decker, who's still out there in free agency, as far as I know. So they get that here. Minnesota Vikings, I think it's a bit tougher without Dylan Thiemann here, but I'm leaning to Peter Woods.
I make that selection all the time.
Do you? Yeah, I mean, he just kind of fits that, hey, go get after it, create havoc, have fun.
Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on Jermon McCoy to the system?
I like it. I think it's just, I don't see them ever drafting corner high, or at least in the first round. And I think they've been pretty content with some of the guys that they've gotten. So
Fair enough. Okay.
yeah, didn't they bring in like James Pierre as well? Not that he should stop you, but
well, it's like it's a depth signing, which
yeah.
I mean, to me, it makes it no positive or negative argument. I think it moves it both ways. Like positively, it's like, oh, okay, so they have depth in case Drummond can't play. Negatively, because it's like, okay, now they don't have as many holes to fill in their corner core. Yeah. So who'd you end up going with?
I think I'm going with Peter Woods.
Hell yeah.
This Panthers pick is actually kind of tough.
Wouldn't have been if Peter Woods were available.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like part of me thinks, do you swing on maybe a tackle just because you have Rasheed Walker on the 1-year deal? You have Ken McGuanu, who's going to miss most of, if not all of next season, and he's up for contract. Taylor Moton could be a guy that they move on from. Oh man, but who is that guy jumping here at 19 necessarily? Here, taking a quick look at the roster.
Ian Otchor would have been like, this is where we end up having a jaw drop that Ian Otchor could go. This could be the spot to have him sit for a year. I'm just going to throw that out there. Not something I'd recommend, but we always know there's some crazy stuff that happens in the draft, and some team might actually fall in love with the athletic capabilities of him and possibly think like a Kwanu and, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just thinking their style. To me, I think Caden Proctor goes higher than where most people have him.
Yeah.
And I mean, dude, I think he just fits a style that they typically like at tackle.
Should I recommend your number one defensive interior?
Funny enough, I'm kind of content with their interior.
Okay.
Really? Okay, that's not fair to say. That's not fair to say. I love Christian Miller. He's my dude. Honestly, if not everyone else was so low on him, I'd probably take him I would have taken him at 18.
Yeah.
It's just, I still buy into like, well, to be fair, Peter Woods is like one spot behind him.
I did shout out to One Bar and Luppagus, by the way. While you decide to make this pick, I'm going to stall for you.
Please do.
It's like we were talking about it, and that's when I found out that Christian Miller was your highest. And speaking of a player that I thought he was like a my guy coming into the year. He was like top 15 for me. He ended up being like 24 because there was a little bit of inconsistency. And I thought I was super high on him. And then I look and I'm like, this mother trucker. I'm like, damn it. Like now Brosh has him higher than I do. I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding me.
I mean, we talked about him at the beginning of the year. We both liked him coming into the year.
I know, but it's like I had him absurdly high, and then even throughout mid-year I did. And then it's like the consistency never got better. And then it was like, okay, I dropped him a little bit, but it's like, I was still thinking he was my guy because everyone's like, oh, round 2. And I'm like, no.
All right, so I'm going to pitch two options to you. The two players I think that are going to get, I don't want to say it's overly drafted. I don't think that's fair to say, but I think they're going to get drafted
Panthers fans
higher. Yeah, I know. Sorry. Hey, y'all had a great offseason. Congrats.
You did.
So I think Caden Proctor might go top 20.
Got.
I don't personally like this player at this range. I like him better maybe early second round. A lot of people love Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. To me, a third safety coming off in the top 20, just, I get it. It's a special type of class, but
yeah.
Ugh.
I would go McNeil-Warren.
All right, we're going McNeil-Warren.
Oh, I was going to say, like, it depends on how comfortable you are with Rasheed Walker having his issue in January. Like, end up being arrested at LaGuardia Airport with his firearm.
Yeah, apparently it got dismissed or whatever, right?
Yeah, but it's like you could end up seeing, it's like, oh, do we think there's going to be a repeated issue? I mean, he got $4 million.
Yo, there's was at an airport?
Yeah, LaGuardia. I'm not mistaken.
I mean, I gun to an airport.
I mean, you can. You just have to like notify them ahead of time, and there's some certain restrictions you have to have.
Bro, you can't even bring toothpaste.
Well, too much toothpaste.
Too much.
You can bring food, by the way. I never even thought about that. You just meal prep food and just bring it through the airport.
Interesting.
But it's like, who wants, like, you can put it with a lunchbox, but then it's like, oh, are they going to count the ice bag as like something, or the whatever the hell, the blue ice as like something that's liquid?
You ready for fun?
I'm all down. So you went Emmanuel McNeil-Warren?
Yeah, and now I'm about to go Zion Young for the Dallas Cowboys.
All right. Now you got to talk about this one.
Another player that's going a lot higher in mocks than necessarily where I have him, but to be fair, he's in like my top 40. So it's not too crazy. I think if you are looking maybe for a little more upside, though I'd argue TJ Parker offers more upside, and I probably would take him here. What, you don't?
No, sorry, my screen went black on my cornerback rankings, and I was like,
I was like, excuse me, you want to check the athletic profile again, bud?
No, I have the exact same ratings for Zion Young and Derek Moore, who are going to be like top 40 to 50.
Yeah, I like Derek Moore quite a bit too. But Zion Young, you're getting a very good run stuffer. I thought he was just that. And then this year you saw a little more of the shimmy, the shake, the suddenness, I guess, to be just a good pass rusher this year. I didn't see that coming. And you're getting a 3-down player. You're getting a guy with a great motor. And I just think Cowboys fans, at least them right now, they would prefer potentially this pick over maybe I would have probably taken Jermon McCoy here.
Yeah. But that's what I would have recommended, but it's perfectly fair to say edge rusher is there.
And you just did secondary with pick 12, so
doubling up on the secondary definitely seems like a bold move in the first round. I would make
Dolphins. I wouldn't mind if Dolphins did that.
Especially with Jeff Hafley. I trust how he'd handle defensive backs too.
Right? I mean, have you seen our secondary, bro? Get out the vomit bucket.
I know. All right. I have 2 back-to-back selections here. Not 2 back-to-back, but I have back-to-back selections. Steelers. Good board for us. If I'm being completely honest, like it's a very well laid out room because Ioane, that's our type of guard. We just lost Suamalu. This is literally what Suamalu would be. Like, I'm not used to having Ioane here, so that's cool. McCoy's not a bad option either. You think about the physicality profile, Jalen Ramsey kind of like coaching him up and teaching him the way. Great boundary. And then we also ended up signing a veteran for a 3-year deal as well. So you don't have to rush him in. So I'm a big fan of that. But I still think I need an immediate fix. And I miss when Steelers had the best offensive line. I really do miss it. And Ioane is he's black and gold. So we're going to go with Ioane there.
Nice. Just sniped it from the Chargers.
I did screw the Chargers over. I am sorry. I love y'all. Do not hate me. But number 22, it's a weird spot for me because, Jermon McCoy actually kind of feels like a type of weapon I almost think that they could lean into if they don't want to go in the offense or defensive trenches. I think they still will. It's not a great value spot for any player, in my opinion. Like, do you see a player here that would be incredible value?
Not incredible value. No, I don't think I don't think you're gonna get value in this draft until much later.
Well, I feel like Ioane felt like great value.
Yes, Ioane was great. Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like a similar caliber, which it's crazy. PFF recommends wide receiver as like their top need, which I'm like, I'm not there with that. But I will say this: if they don't trade back and acquire some extra draft capital, I'm not afraid of Emmanuel Pregnon here. The only reason he's not top 10 for me is because of the fact that he's older. But he did make a school switch, which USC doesn't produce very many great offensive linemen recently. And Oregon does. And he ended up taking a huge step up. So to me, it might have been just the situation, not just like, oh, he's an old man beating up on younger individuals. So I'm going to go with Emmanuel Pregnon here. I'm going to trust that maybe he just unlocked something that he always really had, and it's not just because of the domination with age and experience.
All right. Well, you're about to be back on the clock, my friend. Because Philadelphia Eagles,
I'm stoked.
I think Howie Roseman is a sucker for, picking up what people want. And that player would be Jermon McCoy.
I love it.
Yeah. Dude, you got Reek Woolen on one of your deal? Say less.
Yeah. It's like also, do you remember when the Giants ended up having their off-season Hard Knocks? Like the one with the draft.
With talking about like Saquon and that whole
Yeah. So they had a picture. They ended up accidentally showing the board. Like they ended up showing like the draft, and some of the players were color coded, and both the Eagles' first and second round selections were labeled red, which is health concerns. So Quinion Mitchell apparently had some type of concern, and obviously Cooper DeJean broke his leg. So this is a team that their last two really successful DB picks had some concerns. Why not go another? And I love the Reek one extra year, or 1 year of like being able to ease them in.
Yeah.
Good selection. Oh,
thank you.
Browns. I know I'm used to digging into you for stuff, but like these are picks that I think are very well vetted.
Yeah. Browns, you went with tackle / wide receiver at pick 6
with Mansour Delane. And honestly, I feel really good about that here because at 39, I don't feel great about the offensive line value, but I feel like it's really solid here, right? You look at Caden Proctor, and a lot of people aren't going to like Caden. The hate for him, I think, is a little extreme.
I agree.
But to be fair, the Browns weren't at Alabama's pro day. That's a legitimate thing to start thinking about. It's like, well, like, are you not? Like, what's up with that? According to Todd McShay, apparently they're going to try to make it seem like they're trying to draft Ty Simpson. I want to say Josh Simpson. Ty Simpson. And I'm not there with that. I love Ty Simpson personally, but it's just, I don't think this team's ready for a QB year one. So I'm actually going to look at Caden Proctor here. I'm going to select him. He is also a mountain, just like DeJuan Jones, but I think Caden Proctor, talent-wise, is a lot more translatable. It's not like some hulking mountain that can't move like DeJuan kind of was. Caden has some solid mobility, and then at worst, I guess you can kick him into guard.
All right, well, I'm ready to run the pick in again.
Tell me.
So I don't think the Bears are going to have 2 second-round picks. Granted, they're at 57 and 60.
Yep.
I don't think the defensive tackle talent will be good by then. So I think I'd rather take that now and then maybe get edge, or we've already seen 3 safeties off the board. So just chuck that can down the road anyway. So I'm going to go with Christian Miller. He's my dude. Yeah. He's our dude. I think he'd be a good complement to Gravon Dexter, who's more of that, hey, I'm a penetrator. I'm going to go get up in there. And you get Miller, who, for the most part, those Georgia boys, they're taught to be very run contained first. But you saw in the second half of the season when it was like, hey, our pass rush kind of sucks. We need someone to let it rip. He was the guy that started to let that sucker rip.
Yeah. All right. I love Christian Miller. Also, you look at Dennis Allen's prototypical defensive interior size. Yeah. It's not the Caden McDonald size. So it definitely, Christian Miller's still heavy for a.
Dude, yeah, he got up to 321.
I know. He's still heavy for a Dennis Allen defensive interior, but talent-wise, you're 100% right. Like with the amount of 2 and 3 round mocks I've done, it's like, oh, second and third round, you really do feel uncomfortable with the value of them. Here, it's like, okay, you have Christian Miller top 20. I have him top 25. This is great value for him. The more you go down, the more you have to play Moneyball, and that's not a great position to be in. So we have number 26 with the Buffalo Bills. I like how this board ended up falling, but I also hate it. Because we don't have a second round pick. So it does matter a lot what they do with this. Like a lot of really solid talent here that I just don't know if they're ready to select. Like Akeem Mesidor. The fact they brought in Bradley Chubb, to me, makes me feel very comfortable with the idea that they either are ready for an older, more ready day one pass rusher, or 2, they just want to ignore it. Which one between those 2 do you think it is?
Oh, man.
As you're deciding for what you'd want to do for the Niners.
Yeah, I know. Right? I was literally just looking at that.
When you're in other thought.
So, golly. So there's a pick that gets thrown
here.
You
off guard.
No, you're good. There's a pick that gets thrown here.
Okay.
In Cassius Howe. That,
no.
Yeah, I don't love.
It's just because people see Nick Bonito as the comp.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, they brought in Bradley Chubb. I think you can go elsewhere if there's a linebacker they love, which I don't know, there might be. Shoot, even Well, I mean, you took Emmanuel Pregnon, so I don't think they'd want to go with the guard.
Yeah.
Then again, they brought in stinking Lloyd Cushenberry, so I wonder if that's going to be more than just a depth move.
Right.
Bills are tricky, man.
Yeah, I think Jacob Rodriguez is a move I'm going to make. He had a phenomenal pro day, like phenomenal combine. I don't know. Did he even do a pro day yet? I don't know if he did a pro day, but phenomenal testing.
Yes, their pro day did go down. I'm pretty sure he probably just didn't test and just stood on.
Yeah, stood on business. But great combine, great Senior Bowl, great offseason process. This team needs somebody who can step in and perform, and I definitely think he's that type of guy.
So one of two things here for San Francisco 49ers. I'm either going to go, hey, we like drafting project edges. Keldrick Falk, come to town. You're a good run stuffer as you figure out the pass rush and stuff. Or you could just take TJ Parker, even if he ends up, even if he hits his floor. I think that floor is a starter in the NFL, a Robin to somebody's Batman, an Edge 2. Maybe say like an Alex Highsmith type. So, which day, that's a great place to be in.
Yeah. Let me throw this out though.
Throw it out. So I can throw it out.
If you want like Keldrick Falk or run defense, isn't that what Michael Williams provides right now as it is?
Yeah, that's
like,
why I'm starting to talking myself into Parker, who's just 3-down player.
Let me throw this out at you though. Why not Akeem at that point? If you want to go pass rush, this team is ready to make a push. No team is solidified as a Super Bowl perennial champion. So if you want to go balls to the wall, let's get some pass rush. Why not go after someone who's ready for a whole 5 years? Just lock it up. True edge, comfortable being an edge 2 as well, and still feasting like an edge 1.
Yeah, but I think he's at his ceiling. Post guys like Parker and especially Falk that aren't anywhere close. Now, do those guys ever hit their ceiling? But Akeem Mesidor was a grown man last season. So I think what you see is what you get, which is, hey, that's great for these championship teams. But I personally have TJ Parker higher. So
okay, fair enough. You going TJ?
I'm going to go with TJ.
All right. I like TJ Parker. I'm not going to ever push back against TJ. It was a Keldrick Falk thing because I was like, it feels like we just got that in Michael.
Yeah, I know. That's why I just kind of threw it like, hey, they like these guys apparently.
Right. Okay. 28 Texans. Not a great pick because I love Christian Miller here.
Shoot, you have the next 4 picks.
I do have the next 4 picks. And the thing is, I'm only going to think of it one pick at a time because I don't want to strategize and end up like setting something up. I want to think about it. If I'm that exact team in this exact moment, how would I end up handling this? And none of these picks feel great to me. I mean, you could end up looking. The thing is, I'm looking at Max Iannaccio here. And I'm thinking Braden Smith's on a 2-year deal. You could kick Iannaccio inside. I know they ended up signing, was it Wyatt Teller?
Yes.
As well. So, like, you could try to have some competition in there on the interior of the offensive line. The problem is, like, I can't sell myself on that. I like the idea. I could see the vision. I can't sell myself. And I know this team doesn't like to use that big of bodies on the defensive interior, but Caden McDonald is a statement piece. And he is that type who's super young. You don't have to have him be the number 1 defender on your defense at all, by the way. It just feels like a guy where I'm comfortable with him being a 4-eye, like a 3-tech. I'm perfectly fine with that. He doesn't have to be a pure nose. With Lee Hunter's testing, I feel a little bit more uncomfortable with him transitioning. So I'm going to go with Caden McDonald there at 28. I will say, though, I do think they try to make a deal for a 2027 first with that pick. It just feels right for a team that is a little bit desperate. Win now.
Okay. I agree. They should go defensive interior.
Who would you have gone with then? They're all like nose tackle builds. I'm just thinking of the guy who I feel most comfortable with at that spot.
I mean,
and
dude,
not being an odd frame.
If I'm just going to go balls to the wall with this pick, like, give me something. Then again, when it comes to their defense, you don't really need that.
Right.
But I guess you can maybe make the case for Caleb Banks.
It's just the foot is like, if you want to talk about a red flag, it's like, ooh. A 330-pound man who can't get a foot injury fixed up.
I mean, yeah. It bothered him prior to the season and then re-aggravated it.
Well, ended up breaking it before the combine. Like, not even just re-aggravating, like made it worse.
Which is insane that he ran that way.
Honestly, props to him. But that's just not something that you could imagine being consistently effective over 5 years.
Yeah,
10
I
years.
agree.
Very Steelers kind of pick in round 2, I will say. We always love those players who are only going to be good for a couple of years. We'll take 5 years or something.
It's like, who's that girl you're dating? She's all right.
Like, she's good for now. Like that.
She treats me well.
Yeah. No, life's a lot better when you get wife material, though. I think we both can attest to that.
Yeah. You again now 3 more picks left for you, my friends.
Dude, I'm telling you, this fell right into my lap. The Chiefs, they need some extra pass rush. They like a little bit larger edges. They're trying to still stay competitive. I'm going to Hakeem, the Dream Mesidor. Sorry, Hakeem Olajuwon. He definitely deserves it a lot more than Mesidor. But
can you still dream at that age?
Yeah. Are you talking about Hakeem or are you talking about Hakeem?
Both.
I guess both. Yeah. Both are old at this point. But number 30 for the Dolphins, I would actually still have looked at Mesidor to just at least try to
Oh, no, we don't need win now players.
I'm just saying, like, just when you take all players who have potential, there's a big risk in that because half of the time, maybe more, they don't reach anywhere close.
Yeah, but you got to believe in your ability to develop.
This is true. This is very true. So I want to discuss with you about this pick. I have a couple players in mind, and I'm like kind of zoning in on 2. So I'm curious, I'm zoning in on 3. Without my input, if you were to give a top 2 or 3 for this, where would you be happy with it?
For my Dolphins, I kind of went just best player available.
Mm-hmm.
As much as this pains me to say, I wouldn't mind Keldrick Folk at this spot just because I feel like we're so far away. Another name would probably be Avion Terrell because corner sucks for us.
2 for 2.
And then it would be 1 or 2 wide receivers. One is fun and one is functional. Denzel Boston, functional. Casey Concepcion, fun.
So we're 3 for 3, but you have to select which one of those wide receivers you would put in your top 3.
Oh, geez.
We'll see if we're fully aligned on this.
Yeah. Oh, golly.
Okay. What's your gut say? You don't need to look into analytics and shit.
No, I'm not.
This is a long video. We don't.
I'm just taking
Padwick me.
I'm just taking a quick look. All right.
Oh my goodness.
No, it would probably be KC.
3 for 3.
Okay.
You know what? I'm trying to think. Okay, at 43, who's going to be there? 75, who's going to be there? I feel very solid with. I mean, honestly, both. You can make the argument if you don't want to go KC, like 75, maybe Skylar Bell's there. Zachariah Branch, like one of those 2 could be. Maybe not. I don't know how you are on them, but like one of those 2 could be.
Where at?
75. Like Malachi Fields.
Oh, I could see, either of those guys there. Yeah.
Right. So we're talking about like whether it's Malachi Fields or Skylar Bell at that point, which I like both. And which one do you feel more comfortable with? Honestly, I'm going to take the higher ceiling here with Casey Concepcion, even though I think I'd prefer Skylar Bell over a Malachi Fields. I just would prefer to get somebody who I know could be dynamic and affect the special teams too. So,
right.
Now I'm at 31.
Your final pick.
Mike Vrabel was literally just grappling this man and wanting to, like, straight up. Wanted to just grab him without getting a temporary restraining order before he gets one. Maxi Inaudible, he's perfect for this. Great mobility, needs a year to develop, could be kicked to interior if you do so please. And honestly, I think he should, but definitely needs veteran leadership, which is what they have for 1 more year. He is a perfect fit here in New England, and I love the fit.
Didn't you feel like you were watching someone's first date?
I know, right? They're just like, oh, dude, like That's a dream fit right there in terms of just what the coach is basically buying into off the bat. I love it to death.
Yeah. Oh man, this has become infinitely more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I know that Seahawks fans, or at least some of them, don't like taking corner here. I'm like, get over it. You need corner. The other option would probably be an edge. Keldrick
Dude, people are going to hate Keldrick Falk, but it's a great DeMarcus Lawrence type of player.
Exactly. That's exactly where my mind went.
Yeah, it's literally the role.
And
you're just getting a young D-Law.
Exactly. You would just be developing him. But I think I'm going to go with Avion Terrell, though.
It's the name value, and they have a couple short corners. Why not? Let's add one more.
Dude, Witherspoon could play inside and outside. Terrell can play inside and outside. We've seen the blitz and upside essentially of both. More so Witherspoon. Golly. Didn't know that dog was in him. I mean, I guess.
Why don't more people comp Terrell to Witherspoon? Because the physicality and
athletically. That's why.
I don't understand. I think Avion tried to put on weight and just didn't test for the vert.
I don't think he was ever as smooth as
Spoon was.
As Witherspoon, yeah.
I don't put him in the same category, but like stylistically,
I agree. Stylistically,
good athlete, great blitzer. Like they are essentially the same prototypical role, just one's clearly better. All right, New York. We got the Jets,
and it's the second round.
Arvell Reese, Omar Cooper, the first two selections. I would be very intrigued with the idea of Ty Simpson here. I don't think that's a bad idea. A lot of people hate it, but it's a second round pick, and maybe you end up trading like with the Seahawks and flipping the pick to get the 5th-year option. You could always trade him away. But the next year draft class, here we go. We're going to hear it again. It is phenomenal. Like, there's a chance, unless players who are younger end up continuing to get soaked up with the NIL money, that it is 10,000 times better in terms of that quarterback market. But I was talking about a corner from Tennessee earlier, and I might be talking about another one here with Colton Hood. What are your thoughts on him, and maybe what other options you would end up considering here?
Personally, I do like Colton Hood in a Aaron Glenn system.
Yeah.
Because occasionally when Aaron Glenn doesn't feel like he can play a lot of press man, he'll play quarters.
He loves quarters. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think.
And he is kind of built for that. He's built.
Yeah. I don't love. I think we saw it at the Senior Bowl whenever Hood had to kind of follow across the field. It's kind of where he lost, but I think if he's just having to flip his hips and run with.
So the reason I would go Hood over Cisse is because I think Cisse is even more of a project than Hood. And I'm trying to focus on a balance of upside and day one, and more heavy focus on day one. So if there are more quarters and a lot less press, I would go Chris Johnson here in a heartbeat. But yeah, I'm going to go Colton Hood and lock that in.
All right. Well, I'm going to be very fascinated what happens after this pick.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm not going with Ty Simpson.
Well, there's a much more realistic option since you didn't go tackle there.
Exactly. I'm going to go with Blake Miller.
That's why I was not going to force you into a tackle early. I was like,
yeah.
With the way we were going to draft, I knew one would fall.
Yeah. Personally, I like Lomu better, but we're looking at right tackle.
Yeah.
And if I don't have to switch these guys, I don't want to switch these guys. It's just, I think Blake Miller and Lomu are very evenly placed. They're both guys that need to increase the power profile.
Sure.
But I think Blake Miller is a 4-year player. Lomu, he's a 3-year player. So he's got a little bit of an edge. They're not too far apart on my board.
Fair enough.
Kind of.
Do you remember how many years John Franklin Myers' contract is?
Wasn't it a 3-year deal?
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to double check that it wasn't like a 1 or a 2. Because Keldrick Falk, if that were the case, would be like John Franklin Myers for the system. So I'm looking at the Titans. We already ended up going after a superstar running back in Jeremiah Love. And you know what? A lot of people would say, if you didn't go there, you go edge or wide receiver. Well, the good news is both are pretty solid value here. You still could go Keldrick Falk and develop him for a year because you don't need to start him the way that you normally would. There are other players like Malachi Lawrence that would end up fitting extraordinarily well and be essentially very similar to Jermaine Johnson, but a little bit lighter. And at 66, wide receiver still will be there. However, I don't think this team has a reliable X-build receiver. And Denzel Boston, as much hate as he gets, I mean, he had absurd catching. I don't understand why either. Like, I was someone who was a little bit lower on him coming into the year. This is basically value brand Tetro McMillan. He is a little bit taller, lankier receiver who ended up polishing at the end of his tenure in college how to run routes a bit better. But he's someone who literally ended up returning punts. He has run after the catch ability. And he knows how to block extraordinarily well. And if you want to help out your run game, especially with one who's a home run hitter, probably need to block the DBs as well. So I'm going to go Denzel Boston here. I think he's a fantastic fit. And let's just give the offense the best chance and let our coach elevate that defense with a lot of veterans.
All right, you got the Raiders. Here comes the Ty Simpson pick. Double dip. One of them has to hit.
Yeah, we're going to do the RG3 and the Cousins. Yeah, that would be crazy. Okay, so for Jim Leonard's over in Buffalo. What the hell am I saying? Who's the D-line coach who just got promoted to DC?
Robert.
Why do I keep?
It's Robert, right? Oh no.
Yeah, it's like Rob something.
Oh no.
Like, why did I say Jim Leonard? Oh my God.
I'll look it up.
Yes, please do, because I love him as a defensive line coach. Like,
Robert Leonard. My gosh, Rob Leonard.
Okay, it is Leonard. Okay, yeah, okay. I was like, am I tripping? Okay, so Rob Leonard, love him to death on the defensive front side. I think he could end up trying to make his mark here with an edge rusher, just because Quiddy pay, 1 year deal for Golston.
They got Max Crosby.
Yeah, they do. But I'm saying an edge two. Like, both are edge twos. Cheeks. I was almost about to say the ASS word. Peachy show. We got people who actually need to protect their ears on this one. So, regardless, I think the receiving core is so much better than people give it credit for. Maybe, like, I'm just going to be so for real. A lot of underdeveloped young players, they're going to get better, and they have a much more easy to produce system. I'm happy with that. Offensive line wise, I don't know why people are kind of crucifying them with, Charles Grant elevating, Colton Miller getting healthier. I think they're going to do perfectly fine on the tackle spot. Interior, they end up paying a boatload for Linderbaum. So I think they're going to be okay there. I don't trust the free safety value here at 36. Otherwise, that'd be something I'd sprint in. So to me, it's between edge rusher as well as edge. And I think Lee Hunter would, again, we're talking about this big drop off. Lee Hunter's an absolute savage, and he is a block shed winner, both in the run game as well as the pass game. There is a significant drop off at defensive interior, the way that there probably isn't for a lot of other positions. I feel like if you're going to try to hit on something, try to hit on someone who could pretty much affect you every single down. So I'm going to go Lee Hunter here out of Texas Tech.
All right. We'll see. All right. Well, gear up for the Houston Texans pick, because the pick is in. And I think I'm going to go with CJ Allen. I know that the pro day raised some concerns. I didn't think he was like a crazy great athlete anyway, but he's a Mike linebacker. He's going to be your green dot guy. You brought in Tremaine Edmonds. There's your razzle dazz, flies all over the place type of linebacker. Just give me someone who's going to come in and be able to play the run, get everyone where they need to be, and just increase the run defense there.
Okay. I'm not a big CJ Allen guy at this point based on his knee.
Yeah, again, medicals are going to be important with that knee. I know it's been bothering him. Didn't do any of the athletic testing.
People were saying this, and I can't disagree. For somebody who's supposed to be an athlete, he didn't have a very athletic look to him. Like, he looked a little chunky, I can't lie. And especially for someone who's recovering from his knee, you'd expect for them to try to reduce as much weight to make it easier on recovery. Maybe that's why he's swelling up, is because weight-wise not great. But Houston, we're back. Took Caden McDonald round 1. I'm almost at the point where I might just go Caleb Lomu. BPA is never a bad idea. And you do have comfortability putting tackles at either left or right tackle. Ursary had some experience there. And I know, again, Braden Smith is there. So you could kick Lomu to the guard spot. But this team doesn't have many issues, and that frees you up to go after offensive line. What are your thoughts on that versus what other players would you consider?
Caleb Lomu would have been the guy for me.
Yeah, I'm just going to go
BPA.
BPA. Don't mess around. And I do like Lomu even on the interior as well. I like him more on the interior, but this is still a very draftable range at both left tackle as well as the guard role. 39, back with the Browns. Delane and Proctor, the first selections, which again, I feel a lot happier looking at the receiving value here with Chris Bell, Jeremy Bernard helping this out rather than, going after KC and then trying to fill the offensive line vacancy here. So, I mean, honestly, Chris Bell, he's already working back to where he should be. This is somebody who could be like A.J. Brown-esque. You end up looking at what the Ravens didn't really have. It was a reliable big receiver. So maybe you end up seeing the new head coach saying, well, I didn't have it there. Could like someone who's going to be a little bit more big, hulking, and have run after the catch ability on this squad. I'm going to take Chris Bell out of Louisville here. I love Chris Bell, man.
Yeah, I was looking at him for the Saints.
Yeah, I mean, of course, you want to pair him back up with Shuck.
Dude, I know.
Dude, I got to see Chris Bell tear his ACL in front of my own eyes. You know how sad that is?
I was
at the SMU game, man.
I got to watch him torch the Hurricanes live from my TV.
There's that part too. But, I mean, yeah, Chris Bell pre-injury was a top 20 player for me. This ends up setting him to a proper range. 40 for the Chiefs. If I did not take Chris Bell there, even though I took Mekhi Lemon, I'd still be open to Chris Bell here. Not going to do it. And again, Keldrick Falk's falling. Team will trade up for him at this point. Like that's just the way that would work. But I think there's a team at the next pick that might be very excited because he's falling. I'm just going to point that out. But so far we've got an edge and wide receiver. What's the other position they need? Corner. Guess what ended up falling? Corner. Which is, again, Browns, you can use that as a counter reason as well. We're going to go Brandon Cisse, cornerback out of South Carolina. Freakish athlete. Had some amazing moments, some legit slip-ups versus Texas A&M. I know you and I have gone back and forth on that. But
what a game that is to watch.
It scared the crap out of me. It really did. And I had Cisse up in my top 10 for a moment there. And so you see the ceiling there. I love your defensive back coach. He's done a phenomenal job with your corners. But just because you can end up doing it one time with Noel Williams and you can, Justin Watson. But there's a certain point where you still need top-end talent. You still have Trent McDuffie there, and we're going to get top-end talent here. With Cisse, Bengals at 41. First pick, Sonny Styles. Second pick, I'm going to go Keldrick Falk. I know it's not exciting, but this is the run defense foundation that you can end up pairing and end up still having that ceiling. I know you guys are kind of tired of that, but, I know you need at least something going. You probably don't want to pay Miles Murphy a significant sum of money, which will be probably closer to $20 million if he's good. And if he's not good, why do you want to pay him in the first place? So Keldrick Falk, I have a lot of faith that someone like Boye Mafe can give him some good pointers and end up developing his game in terms of at least the explosiveness part at that size. Technique, I don't think they have a good veteran there. That's a tough one. I wish they had Hendrickson. But it's like Mafe kind of is like an athletic demon. Like, and then it's like, ooh. Like, he still had some technique stuff to work on.
Yeah, man. Dude, there's so many good corners on the board here for the Saints.
Really good.
But I think I'm looking to help out my franchise quarterback. I'm going to go with Jeremy Bernard. I think he is literally Jawan Jennings.
He's so
and that is such a quarterback-friendly type of wide receiver.
Yeah. You can't go wrong with Jeremy Bernard.
Yeah.
It's just like, how high would it be to where you start going wrong with Jeremy Bernard? And I ended up saying this when Monroe Freeland was getting he was getting picked at 6 religiously. It's like, even if he's not worth it at that point, you're going to look back at the end of that first contract when you want to sign him for a second and be like, it was too high, but we got a damn good player for multiple contracts. Like, you can live with it at that point. And I think that's Jeremy Bernard to a T. Fair?
Yeah. That's fair. Now enjoy your run of 3 picks.
Man, this is like my round, apparently. Holy Toledo.
Dude, I know, right?
Like, what the heck? All right, Dolphins, Maui Noah and Concepcion were the first 2 selections. I would be very open to Ty Simpson. I know that you're not the biggest fan of that, and I'm not going to do that because I think you set him up for failure at that point, and I'm not a huge fan of doing that to guys. I'm going to go after my best player available, and to me, that's Chris Johnson. I don't think he's necessarily a great fit, but I do believe that, his overall IQ, ball skills, something that, I trust Jeff Hafley to adapt and make a good cornerstone of this defense.
I agree.
Okay, I was like, I need your feedback.
We need best player available.
All right. So, also another reason I would take him is because even though I've already selected Colton Hood for the Jets, I'd still be a little bit worried about them taking like another defensive back if they wanted to. They see BPA. It's very hard to say no at corner position. You can always use more corners. And then right down the lane, there's going to be a lot of teams in the next group that would be very open to it. So, 44 Jets. We have taken Colton Hood, Omar Cooper, and Arvell Reese.
I think there's a very fun pick here.
Are you talking about Caleb?
I'm talking about Caleb.
With Tavondre, that would just be like, unhealthy fat man syndrome. Like he'd be overloaded with like monstrous dudes who cannot stay healthy.
Listen. They could split 300 snaps a year. It's fine.
That's interesting. Curveball here. I don't know if Brees wants to stay long term. Wouldn't be a bad idea to get Jadarian Price.
Talking to the wrong guy here.
What do you think in terms of reliability that Brees stays?
I think he's probably in his last year.
Yeah.
I mean, they love him. I don't know if he thinks they love him.
Well, there's going to be a new regime too. So, and I don't know if Frank Reich's going to maximize the value.
Oh my gosh, dude. That is probably one of the mind-blowing worst signings.
Oh. Yeah, we need to start seeing whether there's something going on when you end up like settling like that. I'm going to go Jadarian Price. I think Brees Hall will be out of the picture within a year, and you don't want to be stuck in the first round with one of your 3 picks having to go after a running back to maintain value. So I honestly like the idea that maybe by midseason, a team that's trying to compete is saying, we want to trade for Brees. It almost happened this past year. So, and they were open to it. I don't know if this year makes it any different.
All right, Baltimore Ravens.
Oh my goodness, I'm still on the board. Holy Toledo!
Get this man off the board.
Yeah, I know. Get me out of here. Oh, you're talking about Caleb Banks? Get him off the board.
Anybody,
or just get me off of the draft.
Get you off the board, dude.
Yeah, just get me out of here, dude. All right, for the Ravens, I'm open to Malachi Lawrence, but again, you're basically getting the exact same type of pass rush foundation early on that you're getting from Mike Green. I feel like that's too many cooks in the kitchen because obviously Hendrickson there as well. I would want someone who's a little bit more consistent as a run defender, as an edge. So I'm not going to go that route. We went Spencer Fano in the first round. Ugh. I actually don't like this pick at all. I might go Caleb Banks because it's just best player available. You don't necessarily need him to immediately produce on the interior. And so you're just basically taking pure raw potential. And I guess if you're mentor, you're like, I never had a nose tackle before. Why not grab multiple? So we'll go Caleb Banks.
They're one of the teams talking to DJ Reed too.
Right. So we're going to go Caleb Banks here. We're going to let him sit, develop, get healthy, most importantly. And then it's a very Eric DaCosta thing. Just go after BPA. And Fano and Banks, great way to bounce back and get the talent worthy of the pick.
All right, I'm just playing catch up because he was my top player on the board, and now it's like, well, fun enough. My top 2 players on the board are linebackers.
Ooh.
Now the question is,
Golday and Trotter,
or Hill.
Okay.
Yeah, Trotter just needs to be good in coverage. I don't know if he ever will be. That might not even matter, but
I still believe in him in zone coverage.
Yeah, but Trotter definitely has more dog in him than these two.
Yeah.
Be fair, Golday was playing a lot of overhang safety, a lot of big slot.
He's so weird. He's like a quasi edge too.
Yeah, exactly.
He was an edge for a while.
Yeah, at Central Arkansas.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, which
very unique profile.
Very. Which I mean, the Bucks. I know it's kind of different coaching staff, but they kind of had to figure that out with Devin White, where he just ended up being a better pass rusher.
Yeah.
I think I will go with Anthony Hill just because I think he's got a better all around game right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to pull a Marcus and force you into a pick.
No, that's fine. It's fine. No, I'll go with Anthony Hill. I think maybe people dog on him too much recently, where it's like, I still think he's kind of this top 50 type player.
I'm not there, but I am people. I've never been an Anthony Hill guy, though, to be fair.
Yeah,
so
that's fair.
It's like, I don't think I'd ever be won over. I'm
Hey, dude, my top linebacker decided to go back to school, so.
Dude, which one?
Okay, to be fair, top linebacker entering the year. It was cat from LSU.
Oh, Weeks.
Weeks. Dude,
Yeah.
he's gonna be good next year. Healthy and playing for his soon-to-be father-in-law.
Can you imagine if there's like a breakup that happens? That'd be wild. I would love, I'd actually be watching that situation pretty intensely.
Dude, it's Lane Kiffin. It's absolutely gonna happen.
Yeah. Dude, I wish the Colts did not end up signing that multi-year extension on
Daniel
Jones. I would have taken Simpson here in a heartbeat.
Yeah, don't worry. I think we could see Simpson come off the board soon.
I'm trying to see which one. I don't know about that. I don't know, but all right. I'm going to just look at a player who I know has already talked to the Colts. Malachi Lawrence. I'm just going to go with him. Yeah. He's someone who could be late one. I don't think he will be. I think this is the range for him. Obviously, friend of mine, but we ended up talking a bit. He acknowledges that, run defense is one of his issues, and definitely he's self-aware. I love that about a player, and really, really good dude, someone who I can vouch for, and hopefully ends up continuing to be that type of guy when he hits big.
Yeah, I've seen him talked about at Buffalo's pick as well.
Yeah, it's a great fit in Leonard's defense, but I think that I'd prefer him in an even front. I like him with Lou more than Leonard.
All right, so are you ready? Buckle in, because we know Ty Simpson's probably going to be off the board by this point.
Yeah, there's going to be some. Well, it depends on how they feel about his spine. I heard that there's some spine issues.
He did get hit hard. I thought it was an abdominal issue that kept him out the remainder of the playoff game. That they were getting smacked in. Oh yeah, cracked rib. That makes sense. Yeah.
But I thought I'm going to look this up while you talk.
Yeah. So we know Tua's not a long-term answer. We know this regime has no loyalty to Michael Penix Jr. Sure, we can go an edge here, and I wouldn't mind going an edge here. But like I said, Ty Simpson's most likely off the board at this point. If we're looking at teams that he could go to from here on out, maybe the Steelers at pick 53. I don't know if the Steelers are going to be, at that price, I figure, yeah, why not take that shot? But I'm going to take them here for the Atlanta Falcons because their quarterback situation is an absolute mess. You got Stefanski. I think Simpson could be kind of like a Baker Mayfield-esque type of player that just needs to sit. Sit early, doesn't have enough of those starts under his belt to, I think, warrant a first-round selection. Though I do like the idea of maybe getting a fifth-year option on him. So I get why the Cardinals are kind of an easy team to go to and have them move back up into the first round. But yeah, I'm going to just get them off the board here.
Okay. Ty Simpson suffered a lower back injury in the South Carolina game. I saw something from Joe A, and he ended up saying something about his spine. I was like, I know I read something about his spine.
Okay. I know.
I don't know if I trust that. But.
Dude, the South Carolina game that was the game that just shifted Alabama this season.
Yeah.
They just weren't the same team. Well, outside of they couldn't run the football. They were that team all year. But even the pass protection, they were shuffling that offensive line all around. I think that's where the playmakers started having issues catching the football. Ryan Williams, sophomore slump. You can't really put all that to the feet of Ty Simpson, but let's not pretend like Ty Simpson was perfect.
Right. That's fun though. You took Ty Simpson at 48 to the Falcons.
I know.
Honestly, it's a good spot. He's such a good fit with Stefanski too.
Yeah, and I mean, since we're not doing trades, and now that he's gone past like the Jets and the Cardinals, it's like,
it would be
okay. Then what happens next? Minnesota Vikings. I took Peter Woods, and oh man. Okay, I'm looking at this, and
what positions are you targeting?
Edge, if they do choose to trade Grenard. We could talk about safety because that run's going to happen eventually again. Maybe it starts here. I think you should keep wide receiver in mind, though I don't like the value here. When does the first center come off the board? Not here. I think tight end could be in play if we're being honest. But
I'm surprised you're more against center not going here than tight end.
Well, I mean, Lou's coming off the ACL, and then I'm not a big Zune guy.
You don't think Dunker would be a choice?
I'm keeping Dunker at tackle or guard.
Fair.
Yeah. Though center's intriguing. It is for Dunker. Yeah. I think I'm probably I think I was talking myself into safety because I mean, what's that next
pick? They need
pick?
Free safety, not strong though. That's my only concern with this pick.
Oh, perfect. They need free. They need a playmaker, someone that might not necessarily need to play the run. Is that what I'm hearing?
You better. You're gonna do it, aren't you?
Oh,
and Alex, bring this guy up round 3 for this team.
You just you talked me into it, dude. They've been missing that Cameron Bynum type of ball hawk, and it's not like
I can't wait to hear how Brian Flores thinks about a player who can't play the run.
It's not that he can't; it's that he won't.
He doesn't want to. Yeah, he literally just does not want to, which is even worse.
He's got the play strength. I know. I've seen it. I've seen him tear down ball carriers with one arm. I've seen him pry loose fumbles. It's like, where is that? I don't know.
About Genesis Smith, if you guys have not.
Yeah, Genesis Smith from Arizona.
Yeah.
He's one of the most infuriating players. Really is. But what a gifted athlete. A dude that can make plays on the football, and he will come up and play the run. But if you put a guy in his face, he doesn't know, I could take him on. I know I have the strength. I'm going to finesse the hell out of him and get lost.
Well, the worst part is he doesn't like to tackle at all.
Yeah,
I don't even care about the missed tackle rate.
The missed tackle rate is because his tackle is just trash, dude. He's
but literally, he doesn't want to tackle.
He's an arm tackler. And by arm, I mean singular, not plural.
What you mean by it is the fact that he doesn't want to commit his body to the tackle. Not he's an arm tackler. He's like literally afraid to tackle. It's the most mind-boggling thing for someone who I would love if he just played the run 20% better. I would have faith.
Yeah, I think we've beaten this horse so much I can't go with that here. So I'm going to go AJ Halsey.
That's a strong safety.
Oh, dude, he's got good instincts. He's got good instincts. They leaned more into zone coverage. They've leaned more into zone coverage the last year. I'm sure.
Okay.
They'll figure it out.
I mean, Halsey's a monster. I was kind of hoping that he would slide to Steelers or Eagles at that point.
Side note, I think he tested out better than expected.
Yeah, 4.52 on his 40, which was great. The dude just turns like a battleship.
Yeah, but again, he relies on those instincts where it's like, okay, I'm gonna make this play before the quarterback is even starting his motion. He had a couple of those plays.
He's an elite red zone defender. Okay,
because there's not a lot of ground to cover.
Not a lot of ground, and you can have your instincts off the bat, knowing where the play is going to go. which has value. I will say in a bend don't break defense, he might mess up until the red zone, and then if you make the play, I'll take the yardage with the interception.
Yeah.
So you locked in Halsey?
I'm gonna lock in Halsey. I'm already thinking about Detroit, who took Monroe Freeland. I think it's probably a good point here to maybe go edge or corner, because I don't know how the whole Terrion Arnold thing's gonna go with him taking the law into his own hands, which I ain't gonna lie.
We're jealous.
I get it.
Yeah, we're jealous.
I don't even hate it. Ooh, golly, tell me D'Angelo Pons isn't a Dan Campbell type of guy.
Where are you putting him?
Well, Meek Robertson's gone. I could put him in the slot and feel okay.
I mean, you're not gonna get no pushback from me if you really want to if you think he's gonna start right away in the Meek role. I have no issues.
Did they bring in a slot? They low key made actually a few good moves, like they brought in Cade Mays, right? Was that the team?
Yeah, I love that. That was
my gosh, what a contract!
What the hell are the Panthers doing? They end up getting Rasheed Walker for dirt cheap, and are like, let's not pay our center that's dirt cheap for how good he is.
Yeah, that
it's like what the hell
boggled my mind. Oh, they brought in Roger McCreary.
Ooh, that's the role right there.
Dang.
Because Pond would be a great McCreary, right? Like that is kind of the role.
Yeah.
But they did lose 10 sacks with Muhammad.
Yeah. So the more likely spot is probably then going edge. I like Derek Moore, but I think I like him better stand up. If I'm going to take hand in the ground, I'm looking at the Gabe Backus. I'm looking at Dennis Sutton. Dennis Sutton was just a better tester, better length, better size.
Backus wasn't bad though.
No, he wasn't bad, but he also decided not to test, and I think that's probably for some reasons. And I like Akers. There's a reason why I'm talking about both these guys, and I'm just trying to
both are in the same
separate them. Yeah. So I think I'm going to go with Dennis Sutton.
I've done that myself. I think it's a solid move.
Yeah, I got 2 more picks to get through here, so bear with me.
I was going to throw out Jake Golday to replace Anzalone if you like as well. It's like a theoretical move.
Yeah, but that's a team that they actually have good linebackers.
Yeah.
And they're kind of good at developing linebackers too. Yeah. So it's like
fair enough.
All right, let's see. We got the Carolina Panthers who took Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. And then
player that you hate.
I don't hate.
Garbage player according to your draft sheet.
It is draftable. There's just a certain system I like him in, and it's nothing to do with him being a free. I don't want him covering a half of the field.
He doesn't have that range, but
no, and he's just so much better when the play's in front of him. But if I'm the Panthers, I think we saw a lot of actually, we probably saw all the tackles come off the board, which cool is what it is. I'll just move on to, the DTs. Next guy up is like Big Citrus or Daryl Jackson. This might be the Eli Stowers spot. Just getting another pass catcher.
Oh, Lord. Coming for Bryce Young's job, huh? He's going to revert back to...
gosh, dude. Can you imagine?
OG. Was it New Mexico?
New Mexico State, where he lost out to Diego Pavia at quarterback.
Yeah, go one short SEC quarterback for another.
Yeah, I'll go with Eli Stowers. He's a legitimate playmaker as a pass catcher. He is a quarterback's best friend because he is a former quarterback. I thought this year he had some problems catching in traffic, but the ball skills are there.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, do you what do you have a round 2 grade on Stowers, or are we just kind of following consensus with that one?
It's a little bit of consensus, but I have Stowers at 58 on my board, so it's not like
okay.
Yeah. So it's not crazy.
I just don't like his route running. He runs routes like a
quarterback.
Yeah, like really like Taylon Green. Like might as well just take Taylon Green to beat Eli Stowers, right?
Yeah, or Cole Payton.
Similar testing. Similar testing. Same route running.
Dude, that's actually freaky. Yeah, they did have similar testing. I have the Green Bay Packers now, and they're probably one of the toughest teams to draft for. It's just
I have one that I would love for this team right now.
Here, you shoot that. You say that. I was thinking that.
Yeah, it's just like Quay's not on the team anymore.
Yeah.
Did they trade for EJ Speed?
No, Speed. Right? I'm pretty sure is still with the Texans.
I thought there was or did they trade?
Oh, it's Zaire Franklin.
I'm tripping.
Yeah, who is honestly the last couple of years for Franklin haven't been kind. He's kind of borderline. Feels like he's moving more into being a depth player.
Yeah.
You could always talk about maybe bringing in more pass rush. Honestly, dude, I don't mind Derek Moore for this squad.
I love Derek. I mean, I have Derek Moore the same grade as someone that you took at 20. So.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
No complaints there. And we saw him tear it up in Mobile, too. The Packers like Senior Bowl guys, too. They have like a big track record drafting Senior Bowl players.
Yeah, I think I'll go that way because I do think Derek Moore probably goes higher than this. Funny enough, I like him better than Malachi Lawrence, and I think they're very similar players. I just think that Moore is better versus the run. That's kind of how he gets that edge.
Fair enough. I mean,
pun intended.
All right, I want to see that. Let's see. Derek Moore, I do have him better versus the run by a notable margin. So I agree. I just wanted to see if I was like consistently
not the athlete that Malachi Lawrence is by any means.
I mean, he's still a good athlete. Let's not throw Derek Moore under the bus and say he's like a Chiefs athlete or anything. He's a very good athlete.
Yes.
Malachi tested out to be a freak athlete.
Yes.
I'm gonna give the barbecue I have with Malachi the reason why he tested so well. There's something about Texas barbecue that makes you into a superhuman.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, Pittsburgh Steelers took Ioane round 1. Thank God QB's not on the board here.
I was gonna say I took your boy.
Yeah, I know. So I feel a little bit better about that. I will say, like, I'm still very much open to defensive back here. If you were to look at like a Keith Abney, look into that nickel role. We do like that physicality. He is shorter. D'Angelo Pons, very much. He feels like a Pittsburgh Steeler. Just the physicality, AFC North vibes. Like I'm very much a fan of that. Tackle doesn't have good value here. Wide receiver, I just don't feel like the receivers here echo what I would want from a second round pick for my Steelers. Like I just am not a huge fan of that. So like you could look at, I mean, shoot, it would have to be some type of trade happening for me to look at a bunch of other positions. So do you have any ideas on what you'd go after here? Because like right now, my top 3 are all corners with Pons, Abney, and then Igbinosun. But we've already done a good job of patching that position too.
Yeah, I go to linebacker for the Steelers because like Patrick Queen's been kind of a bust sign-in. Peyton Wilson's still kind of working through things.
Yeah,
and he was kind of viewed as a 1 year or not a 1 year, one contract guy.
We'd have to trade Patrick Queen in this case. But honestly, if I were to go BPA, because I feel uncomfortable with the fact that we just signed. Why am I forgetting the corner from Tampa Bay?
Oh, Jameel Dean, best corner in the league.
Dean. Yeah, so it's like
I'm a mark. I love Jamel Dean, dude.
He's great. I mean, him and Joey Porter Jr. on the boundary. It's like I feel like we'd be really limited in that regard, and we do have players who could play the nickel extraordinarily well. I'm going to say we trade Patrick Queen because we see the value of Jay Golday here. And I love the ability to send him on blitzes. So BPA all day. And there we go.
All right. I think I've come to a decision with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay. Took corner round 1.
I did take corner. I took Jermon McCoy. I think I'm actually going to go with an edge. I think this is where I take my shot on the outlier.
The Howl.
The Cassius Howl. You might, if you're an Eagles fan, you're like, well, you just took an injured player in round 1, and now you're going to take an outlier. It's like, bro, this is a team that, when in doubt, this is a team that wants to find a pass rush of some sorts, and they couldn't bring back Jalen Phillips. You can't deny the production that Cassius had this year. He's often mocked in the first round, back into the first round, granted. So this is, you would say, well within the range that he should be on the board at this point. Yep. So,
all right,
let's do it.
Back with the Chargers. So first pick was Emmanuel Pregnon. Happy about that. Like at this spot, again, this is a team I'm not a huge fan drafting for because I like defensive interior for this team. Part of me thinks Caden McDonald round 1, and then you could end up going after someone like a Chase Bazontis here would probably yield a better result. It's another reason why you should be doing mock drafts because then you end up like realizing where guys are probably going to go. So I'm feeling like I feel a little bit of buyer's remorse going that early, but honestly, Connor Liu's not a bad choice here. Who's the center right now? I'm tripping. I think they just brought.
No, they brought in Tyler Biadasz.
Tyler Biadasz. Okay, well, I don't think they're going to end up replacing him. So we already replaced one of the guards. I don't think I can go back-to-back guards. That's just a poor. That's a poor use of those type of funds. So I'm like, because Bazontis is incredible value here. If you can have both him and Pregnon, you solve that problem for good. But they do need an edge rusher for the long haul. And I am a fan of Gabe Akis. And I do think with his size, he might be very unique to learn under Khalil Mack. What are your thoughts on Akis here? And what other players would you be open to?
I like the idea of, listen. Gabe Akis might be a guy I'm eyeing for a few picks from here. But
yeah, he's a good fit for the Bears.
He would be a great fit for the Bears.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'd be devastated, but I'd be pretty devastated.
If you were sitting in the Chargers chair, do you think that would be your number one guy at this pick? Or is there somebody else that catches
since you got Pregnon, someone else that would catch my eye.
It's like, do we just go back-to-back interiors? Because the value is best there. You can even look at a Tiernan.
Yeah, like who do they have there on the interior? That would stop you, you know?
Yeah, nothing. Penning, and then I'm forgetting the other guard. Well, now Pregnon, but
yeah, Penning, and then Cole Strange, Dolphins legend.
Oh my god! So you know what? Let's see. In Mike McDaniel's system, I want some mobility. The problem is I don't like. Well, hello there. Dunker is somebody who I think has a good enough amount of mobility. You know what? He also is native to the right side. I think this is a good fit. Let's fix up the interior for good. Guards do get contracts of over $20 million a year. It's not like it's the lowest paid position, so you're not drafting like a tight end. And let's go James Dunker. Why not? He works well with zone concepts too. Like they did a lot of zone running there at Iowa, so I don't think he's going to be out of his depth. And 34-inch arms. Yeah,
that was a surprise. On a side note, my daughter evolved her reboot to Cinderace. Pokemon. Gotta love it.
I was like, hold on. I was like, wait a second. I know that terminology. I'm not that uncultured. I ended up having like this own little like video game device that was for Pokemon. I forget which one it was, but like
Game Boy.
It wasn't a Game Boy. It was only for Pokemon. It was like it was like a Game Boy. It was so weird. I love that thing.
Interesting.
Anyway,
Jacksonville Jaguars.
I still got Jacksonville to deal with. Honestly, I think that linebacker's not a bad choice here. I mean, you did lose one of your best.
Who do they bring in to replace him? Or they're just going with Ventrell Miller or something, right?
I think that's the next up. Let me see. Hold on.
Yeah, that's what I got. That or they got like Jack Kaiser.
I love Jack Kaiser. I don't know if I want him starting off the bat. Yeah, so they have Ventrell Miller, Jack Kaiser in the wing underneath Foye. Hello, computer. Yeah, no one gives a crap what you think. Anyways, dude, it just does it like once an hour. I'm like, you're not that old, okay? Like, I might be a quarter of a century old. I can start saying stuff like that. We're going to go Josiah Trotter here because I think the thumper ability of him, like, let's set the tone. I think the value's right, too. Set the tone. Josiah Trotter. Also, redshirt sophomore, young.
Yeah.
Like, Jack Kaiser was a little more of an aged veteran, if I'm not mistaken, like 23.
Yeah, he was
24.
like 24 entering his rookie year.
Right. So it's like you can have a little bit of youth, a little bit of age in there. And then, again, Ventrell Miller. I'm not overly moved. So let's go after a young stud.
Yeah, I appreciate you making way for Gabe Akis for the Chicago Bears pick. Yeah. Bears fans rejoice. Let's move on to the San Francisco 49ers, where I think, well, initially I suppose my heart goes to guard, right? Because
the value is impeccable there right now.
It's really good. I love Kalen Rutledge. You got Chase Besantis. If I was going to lean a guy, I imagine I lean the guy that didn't almost get his foot amputated in 2024. Which, I mean, that might be just a big nothing burger, but still, that scares me. So I'm going to go with Besantis.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
That is insane. And I think he played on it that year too. After, which
we're talking about Keelan, right?
Yeah, Rutledge. Yeah.
Yeah. That's just wild. That is just insane. Like, what a story.
Yeah, I'm happy that not a lot of people are talking about it because it makes me think it's not that important.
That is a very good point. Okay, Texans. We took Lomu as well as McDonald. Part of me just thinks, like, why not just continue that trend and go after someone who can sit for a year to get healthy with Connor Lew? What are your thoughts on that? Because, again, this is a team that doesn't have needs. You can't make an argument for, like, pure need at this point. You just got to go for guys who are going to be the longest term value.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about, what was it, Jake Andrews? Wasn't he like one of the worst centers down the stretch?
We all know the Texans line is nothing to get excited for.
And I mean, Lew, I liked Lew coming into the year. He was pretty solid to start the season.
Yeah. This would be a trade back most likely to acquire Lew, but you know what? I'm going to do it. Like, if you can allow him to take time to be healthy, like, retooling your offensive line is the best thing you can do because your defense is phenomenal. If you have a reliable offensive line with, I mean, a very capable receiving core, good running backs, good, not great, then you can end up actually really shining. And again, CJ Stroud might not be cheeks if he actually were able to have some time. I'm just saying.
For the Chicago Bears, they've got in Christian Miller, Gabe Akis. I'm going to stick with defense. I'm going to take Zakee Wheatley.
Really?
Yeah, didn't test out bad, but it wasn't like a lead or anything. He's a guy that I still like the tape of a lot. And they have a history of, at least in recent history, they've taken Penn State safeties. So
in round two.
In round two, nonetheless.
Hey, I like Zakee Wheatley a lot, even with the testing. I think he's a phenomenal safety. It's just, I was surprised that it was like that quick. I guess you did have some time.
I had a little time. Because this Rams pick, I'm not going to lie to you, dude. Part of me wants to, I get that they invested heavily financially in corner, but
the values are crazy.
Dude, here. Keith Abney would be so good here.
Mm.
I think maybe you do look at tackle, try to jump. Okay. Okay, do I look at tackle? Golly, I just looked at tackle. Like, Caleb Tiernan's a good player, but he might end up just being a tall guard.
Yeah,
when it's all said and done. Well, let's see. Took Jordan Tyson. It's just a team that doesn't have a lot of needs. It's a great place to be in.
Mm-hmm.
I think I might just take Caleb Tiernan. Just get a good offensive lineman. That'll be good depth from the get-go, and maybe it makes you not re-sign McLennan.
Yeah, I was looking at edge too, and it's like the value is just not there at all.
Yeah, but I mean, dude, they're pretty hefty at edge as well.
I'm just saying, like, for future instances, like, if
Yeah.
you're just trying to get like good value there.
Yeah, I mean, contract wise, Byron Young's going to cost money.
Yeah.
Jared Verse deserves to be the guy paid.
He does.
Yeah, I'm going to go with
Can I-
Tiernan. No,
Okay.
no, go on.
Did you take the? Oh, guess what's on top of your screen right now? Undo pick button. Just FYI.
Yeah, I know, dude. I saw
God
that.
bless you, PFF. God
Yeah.
bless you.
About time.
Yeah. About time that someone did it. Can I interest you in trading Stooks for this team?
If
Who's
this
your nickel
team
corner?
well, it's basically Quinn Lake,
Yeah.
who they just
Like-
paid.
Fuck, I forgot they paid him.
That's
because I
why
was
I'm not. That's why I'm not doing Keith Abney.
Yeah. Because I just know that trading Stooks, I think, would be a better, like, immediate producer. But
Yeah, and I mean he's got size compared to Abney, and I think Stooks could play. He could play outside, he could play slot, he could play safety.
Yeah.
He did all
Fair
those
enough.
things at Arizona.
All right. So you went Tiernan?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Tiernan.
Okay. 62 for the Broncos. Honestly, we ended up going Jalen Waddle in the first round. Sorry, bud.
Yeah, I'm gonna blow my head off.
He means that in a figurative sense.
Oh
for-
yeah, 100%. I
for
have
legal reasons.
too much to leave
and-
for.
Yes. Anyways, this is honestly a team I'm not a huge fan of drafting for. If I'm just being completely honest, they brought
They
back
don't have
both
a
their
lot of needs.
linebackers. Huh?
They don't have a lot of needs.
Right. But if I'm just going to be completely honest, I don't necessarily believe that they are like the strongest on paper. I know it's going to ruffle some feathers, but I do believe that they're a little bit overvalued right now. Defensive interior wise, I am open to the idea, but it's just like very similar to the Rams. There's not a good pick here. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I don't think there's a bad pick just because you're essentially you probably just take best available.
So tight end wise, I was looking at like Max Clare here, who
Yeah.
does have some capabilities. Just Max Clare is such a round 3 tight end, and we are essentially early.
Yeah, I was gonna
round
say. I mean, it's pick 62.
like I would be comfortable with him early round 3, which means it's okay to take him late round 2. I'll go with Max Clare for the squad. Oh, that hurts. That just it's a solid pick. I mean, he is somebody who's a reliable tight end, a good route runner, a capable blocker at his size. Like, it's not the end of the world, but just part of me really wants more. All right, 63 with the Patriots. So we got Max Ihanachor with our first pick.
Still figuring it out.
Everybody is still figuring it out. I honestly think Drake May has like so much potential that's not even met, and he's already been to the Super Bowl. And that's because I don't really trust how they can like trust the deep capabilities of this team. And if I'm going to be honest, Chris Brazzell brings out that deep speed that I would love to pair up with Drake May's deep pass capabilities. So you know what? Let's go Chris Brazzell, wide receiver out of Tennessee.
All right. So with the Seattle Seahawks in the last pick of the second round, I have already taken Avion Terrell. I don't believe I'm going to take a running back here.
Just take D'Angelo Pons, all 5'8", 5'9", 5'10",
To pair up with
5'11".
Avion Terrell, just complete my set of
5'3" in
potentially
an
undersized.
attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez, dude. Can you imagine? I still think defense here.
Okay.
And I guess I'm just going to lean in the pass rush upside of R. Mason Thomas. Yeah, even despite the size, he's still got some heft to him. I think he plays. I'm not saying he's not. He's a gutsy run defender. I think that's probably the best way to put it.
31-inch arms.
Yeah.
240 pounds. 4'7" on that 40.
What's that? I thought it was like 4'6".
It might be 4'6'7". I thought I remember a 7 in there.
Yeah, I mean,
funnily enough, now we think that's bad.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he's just the worst thing.
He's just going to be a part of the rotation there now that Boye Mafe is elsewhere.
Right.
So, yeah, just Keep getting pass rush. Keep just getting guys that could get to the quarterback. Call it a day.
Okay.
Arizona Cardinals. Is it time to take a quarterback? No, it's not. Let's see. I got Ruben Bay and I got Blake Miller. I'm feeling pretty darn good, actually.
Yeah.
That's a good feel. I think I could really go anywhere and be just freaking dandy. Man, how much do I trust? No, this is the Cardinals. I can't trust the team to utilize a tweener player. They couldn't do it with Hassan Reddick. They couldn't do it with Isaiah Simmons. Don't even give me crap. Oh, different regimes. I don't care. They haven't been able to prove that they could do that otherwise. Oh, man.
You're talking about Kyle Lewis, aren't you?
I am talking about Kyle Lewis. Wouldn't that be so fun, though?
I love him. Favorite word to use in the draft circle. Fun.
Fun. It's
Can I sell you on someone that I don't believe in, but I know you do?
do it. Send it.
Thompson's gone. Why not go Genesis Smith?
Because they have Rabbit there with Buda Baker. And I believe in the Rabbit.
All hail the Rabbit.
All hail the Rabbit, dude.
My rabbit's been very quiet today. I've not starved him, but like maybe he's just like fat and satiated.
Golly, dude. Yeah, keep that thing alive till Easter. Maybe he'll rise again. I'm gonna go Keith Abney.
Okay. You gonna put him in the nickel role?
He can play nickel. He can play outside. He provides good depth. I look at their cornerback room. It's nothing special. Will Johnson, if he could stay healthy, that's great. That's fun. Garrett Williams also dealt with injury woes in the past. So I think just getting depth is just a great option. It's a good player I'd take in round 2. So.
Okay. I was going to throw out Igbinosun to pair him back up with Denzel, but.
Yeah, I looked at Denzel Burke and I was like, I'd rather,
I almost would put Will Johnson in the nickel at that point because of the speed. But
yeah,
it's like then you would have Iggy and Denzel paired back up on the outside.
Yeah.
You have Will Johnson.
Corner is such a volatile position anyway. You want competition. You want depth. You want talent. I think we could agree corner is a good place to go.
Oh, yeah. You can never have enough corners. I do feel very comfortable with that ideology. All right. Titans, can I go 3 picks of offense? That's the real question. Because the 2 players I'm between right now is Keelan Rutledge and Davison Igbinosun. Because so far we have Jeremiah Love and Denzel Boston. There's something about Davison Igbinosun that feels very Renardo Green. Like,
oh, yeah. The guy that's about to get shipped off from the Niners just because he's not a scheme fit.
Yeah. Raheem Morris is like, ooh, let me just F everything up. Let me just change this whole
That just
team,
makes me so mad.
Oh my God, I know. And like honestly, they're totally not built for Raheem Morris, like Michael in in that system. I personally don't love that fit. I understand the idea though. He's really solid at his job. But regardless, I'm gonna go Davison Igbinosun. I think that they're not gonna go 3 positions of offense. I do like the idea of going guard, but it's just tough to sell 3 offensive picks back to back to back.
Okay.
Still on the board though.
You are still on the board.
God bless. Raiders, Fernando Mendoza and Lee Hunter. I messed up with the edges. I thought some would fall. They did not.
Yeah, we're in a weird place right now.
We are. It isn't So where I'm looking, I like that free safety spot. And I will say this player is critically underrated on PFF's big board. And I think it's just because they haven't updated it, because I've heard Trev talk about it, and it's a lot higher than 117. I'm looking very heavily into Bud Clark at this point. I'm going to end up looking really quickly at their corner situation.
They brought in a slot.
Yeah. And it's like
it was Taron Johnson, yeah.
So you got Darian Porter. Yeah, the reason that free safety position is cheeks. No one cares about you, computer. It's like Stokes, Porter on the boundary. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm not sold on that. Part of me thinks I just might test Pons on the boundary. Like, there's just a legitimate part of me that thinks that's just the best player available. Stukes at free safety would be kind of interesting to see if he could end up working out there. But he's just too old for an organization that's trying to develop an identity in a future. Like, Bud Clark is such a reliable safety, and I would probably take him within the next 5 to 10 picks. What are your thoughts between Bud Clark and then just Velcro and trying to stick him on the boundary?
Well, I like Pons a lot. I have Pons a bit higher than Clark.
I do
think I think I'd rather that just because it's more valuable.
I'm taking BPA. Honestly, Rob Leonard is a defensive line coach. Get best player available on defense. Don't try to play cute with it. We'll rock it.
So D'Angelo Pons it is?
Yes. I'm also not of the mindset that he has to play in the nickel spot. I would really give him a shot there.
I agree.
And Taron Johnson doesn't stop me from actually starting him over him.
Hey,
I'll just put that out there too.
There's a reason the Bills shipped him in a pick swap.
Yeah. So
Philadelphia Eagles, Jermon McCoy, Cassius Howell. I was almost tempted just to get someone that could fly around like a Reed Blankenship and Genesis Smith. But instead, I'm going to stay true to my board, and I'm going to get Kalen Rutledge for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh.
Don't know when Landon Jackson might go down again, right? And Tyler Steen's contract is coming up. I don't know if that's going to be a guy they're interested in bringing back. So Rutledge is going to be at least good depth that could maybe even challenge for a starting job sooner rather than later.
Okay. All right. Texans. So first 3 picks, McDonald, Lomu, and Lou. Honestly, again, it's a team that doesn't have a lot of needs for a really good reason. They built a really damn good team. So trying to evaluate where they need players, probably not the right route to go. Looking at players that are best value, probably a little bit better of a strategy. And honestly, your head coach is a former linebacker. I know your linebacker core is solid, but it's a 3rd round, and you look at players for longer term value. And I think Kyle Lewis is phenomenal for that. So I'm going to go after the player who needs to have a smart defensive mind, who can utilize him properly. And at 69, he is a top 50 player on my board. I'm going to take that all day.
Some would say the most popular pick other than Mr. Irrelevant. Pick 69.
Oh, yeah, it is nice. Yeah. I was like, oh.
I get it. The joke was lame. Whatever, dude.
Oh, I just didn't realize it was pick 69. I'm like, oh, okay, Kyle Lewis.
You said it.
Yeah, I was like, oh, very nice. All right, 70 for the Browns. Delane, Proctor, and Bell, respectively. I think that's a good spot to be in. Like, you end up addressing a top-end corner position. You have your starting left tackle. You have a big, reliable X that is going, when healthy, going to be a superstar. I don't mind doubling down on the receiving core because I just personally don't believe that there's enough of a reliable foundation there. I'd be looking at Antonio Williams and Zachariah Branch and Skylar Bell at this point. I think each provide a unique skill set. And this is why I was saying, oh, like, what do I want here versus, pick 75 was with the Dolphins. Like, oh, what do I want there? This is like the range where I think these players should be flying off the board. And I'm curious, out of these 3 receivers, which one, how would you rank them between Bell, Williams, and Branch? Because I think right now they're in the order that I like.
I like Branch, Williams, Bell.
Ooh.
I think there's more to Branch than what we've seen the last 2 years, just because they were like, hey, you're a playmaker. Get it in his hands.
Yeah.
I think Williams and Bell are very close to one another. Williams is so good when healthy. He meant so much to that Clemson offense. And when he was not out there, golly.
It was bad.
Yeah. And
I love Antonio Williams.
Bell's great.
Yes. Here's the reason I'm going Skylar Bell. Here's the reason I'm going Skylar Bell. Out of all these players, he has the most experience in cold weather climate. So I think if the talent level is very close, you want to see someone who has less of a risk factor. We've already seen Skylar Bell be able to produce both as a route runner after the catch and just more of being a polished player. He's top 64 on my board. He's number 60 for PFF. And honestly, I think he's a great pairing with, with Chris Bell. So now you have Skylar and Chris Bell.
Is David Bell still there too?
I'm so happy I never liked David Bell. It's just like, he had the worst. I hated his route running. He felt like
route running? He was at Purdue. What route running? It was an RPO machine.
Was like, we'll talk about him eventually. Deion Burks was a phenomenal route runner. It's not crap on Purdue. I love Purdue.
Yeah, he was phenomenal once he got to Oklahoma and actually got to play.
He was really good versus Will Johnson. I'll just throw it out there.
Yeah.
Great matchup. If anybody wants to like randomly dig into Will Johnson.
Hey, there's a big reason that he went from Purdue to Oklahoma.
He's a damn good player.
Yeah. Washington Commanders took Carnell Tate. I'm contemplating just taking Traden Stukes.
BPA.
Have him figure out if he's going to be our slot or if he's going to be our safety for him. Their secondary needed help. They went in on pass rush, which is great, but doesn't mean their secondary will be helped by that. They did bring in Meek Robertson. That's awesome, but I don't like Will Harris. They brought in Nick Cross, but you're kind of hoping Nick Cross takes a significant step up. Quan Martin kind of just feels out on this squad. I'd still be starting Quan Martin over freaking Will Harris, though. Yeah, I'm not that crazy. Just to talk out loud.
It's fair enough.
I think I am going to go Traden Stukes. I like the versatility.
Yeah. He's getting a lot of love around the league. I would not be surprised if he ends up being a round 2 selection.
Yes. I mean, big thing is just he was from like the 2020 class, older guy.
Yeah. Speaking of an older guy from the 2020 class, I think Keontae Scott was as well, right?
Yes, he was. Dude, Keontae Scott, golly.
So he's slipping. He ran a 4.3 as well, just so people know.
I'm just going to say this. Any team that's thinking about drafting him, I would check those teams' blitz rate. Because I don't think Keontae Scott's all that in a bag of chips if you're not blitzing him.
Yeah. But he is extraordinarily fast, has boundary corner experience, of course, ended up not being a boundary corner, which is why he left Auburn, ended up still not being a boundary corner at Miami. I do like him, honestly, as a safety as well. I think he plays the run extraordinarily well. And it's a weird position to go defense for the Bengals. So for me, I'm trying to think of maybe more of an offensive focus.
Oh, bro, this team needs defense.
They really do. The defense is cheeks. Like, poor Al Golden has to deal with all this.
Dude.
But like, Al Golden never dealt with a Keontae Scott style of nickel. Like, if you're looking back on what he had at Notre Dame, it never was a Keontae Scott. But maybe it should have been. You know what? No. I'm not doing that at all. I do like the same position, but I'm going to go with a different player. I'm going Chandler Rivers, cornerback out of Duke. It feels way more in line with what.
No. You go ahead.
Okay. Chandler Rivers is, first off, higher on my board than Keontae Scott. I think he has a cerebral processor. But on top of that, he fits more of an Al Golden defense. You look at his historic views. It's explosiveness. That's a big value there for him. It's IQ. It is not whether you can just blitz and play the run, which is not only what Keontae Scott can do, but Chandler Rivers just fits the defense so much better. And their nickel position is absolute cheeks. So I really love him there. The short range explosiveness, solid. Honestly, tested out probably better than I expected to.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect him to test out that well, but still a phenomenally high IQ player. And Duke had some really, really surprising games. I ended up watching some of his worst this year, and I still came away feeling very confident in his ability.
Yeah. Just to me, he feels like just a high floor good player.
And that's something with this team's nickel situation they definitely need.
Yeah. New Orleans Saints. Oh, let me actually first pick Rivers before I do that. So New Orleans Saints, I took Jeremy Bernard. Ooh, David Bailey. It's been a fun draft. I need to get a corner at some point.
Quick question. What do you think of Jalen Davis?
Are you talking about the guard?
That's my point. That's the starting nickelback for the Bengals. So I just gotta throw that out there.
Oh, I'm thinking Jalen Farmer. Oh, Jalen Davis, Miami Hurricanes legend.
Just gotta throw it out there. That's the starting nickel for the Bengals.
Dude, I was sitting there like, who the hell's Jalen Davis?
See, that's what I was trying to get. Like, I wasn't trying to like be like, oh, bro, you don't know that guy?
Yeah,
Like,
I know. I was like, I think I just got.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the corner position right now, it's a little funky for me.
Yeah. I mean, they just got rid of Alontae Taylor. So,
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of good players here at corner.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I'm looking at a lot of them, feeling like I'd be okay with any number of them. The two I'm looking at particularly are Malik Muhammad out of Texas,
okay,
and then Charles Demons out of Stephen F. Austin, which I think realistically he's an early day 3 guy. I like him. Yeah. I can't help it. So let's see. When's the Saints' next pick? 132.
Oof.
Honestly, there's probably still be a good corner there. Whether
it's a very back heavy corner class.
Yeah. Too. I mean, I could see Prysock, Dixon, Davis, Moore, Lee, maybe even Julian Neal. Like there's a lot of good corners. So I don't have to force it here.
Could I interest you in a Daryl Jackson to play an actual run stuffing nose?
No, dude, I do like me Daryl Jackson. You see, what was that at the combine where they were making him do those stupid little, they pull his feet over his head like it's a flexibility drill.
What? I did not see that.
It was kind of ridiculous. He looked ridiculous doing it because he's just
stretch or something.
I don't know about that, but
I'm like, that's crazy.
I didn't check there.
Where's my boy like that? Like that's wild.
I mean, just for clarity, Daryl Jackson will be 23 entering the NFL, so probably doesn't qualify for that stretch you were talking about. But I'm going to get Daryl Jackson here. I think that's a good suggestion by you. He's a good athlete. He was a dude that this year you were kind of hoping the pass rush production would take another step up, but it just ain't quite.
Yeah. Okay. Daryl Jackson, also like 35-inch arms. Like,
dude, no, yeah, he's huge.
He's an absolute unit. All right. Chiefs, Mekhi Lemon, Akeem Mesidor, Brandon Cisse. I'm very happy with how that ended up panning out. Like, I think that's a really good group of players. I do wish that, like, maybe, like, I wish Carnell Tate were available there. Like, I would feel happy with Tate and Williams actually being selections here and just going to the wall, so to speak. But that's not the case. And looking at where we can end up improving, who's the starting nickel on this team?
It's normally Kamari Connors.
Yeah. How do you feel about him?
I don't know if the Chiefs like him. I mean, they play him on the field, but you know how they just they let these guys hit.
Yeah, Alohi got signed too.
Yeah, but he's not gonna play in the slot a ton.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of defensive backs, like how their DB situation looks like. Because part of me is just thinking, let's go Keontae Scott. Like just
I mean, Connor's probably coming into a contract year.
Honestly, not a horrible idea. Looking at other options, I do like the tight end market at this point. You know what? I want Patrick Mahomes to get back to being able to be a good deep ball thrower. And with the run game, the way that it should elevate, I think this is a good opportunity for Ted Hurst to arrive with Mekhi Lemon and be, kind of a opposite approach. Like Ted Hurst, not really the most wiggly guy, great after the catch, and he's definitely going to be more of a burner. This is a good opportunity to basically have like conflicting skill sets that complement each other very well.
I like that. That's kind of interesting. It feels like they've been trying to get size at that position forever.
Yeah. Oh, I still have your fit. Yeah, I do go on a little bit of a run here, don't I?
Yeah, you got both our teams.
Yes, sir. All right, we got the Finns. We got Maui Noah, Casey Concepcion, Chris Johnson. I would go Keontae, but you just want some youth. I mean, it is BPA, but probably want some youth at this point.
Yeah. BPA to an extent.
Yeah, to an extent. I did talk about Malachi Fields here. Like, I don't mind that. What do you think of Malachi Fields? Especially at this spot.
Or
Surratt. I think Surratt's value.
I mean, that's funny because those were that was the other name that just popped in my head. I was like, who would I rather between those two? I mean, I think that Surratt's probably good on the short to, or better on the short to intermediate. as a just a route runner. He knows his game. He knows he's going to struggle with separation, but he knows how to create that separation with whether it's just boxing out, creating a big catch radius. I do think Malachi Fields is he's a lot quicker. Like it felt like he was much quicker at the Senior Bowl when it came to his get off, and we know he's a downfield threat that can just yam on guys. You
know what?
I mean, that would be a good compliment.
I was talking about like, okay, do we go Boston and Branch, or do we go KC and Malachi? And I think KC and Malachi would be a really, really solid duo because it's a depleted receiving core. These guys are probably going to start. I'm going to go Malachi Fields there. And even though he had 4.6 speed, he tracks the ball deep extraordinarily well. And that does matter.
All right. What about your Pittsburgh Steelers?
All right. Steelers, we have Ioane and Golde, the first two selections. And I'm very happy to say I love the value of Antonio Williams or Zachariah Branch at this selection to complement our boundary receivers in Pittman as well as Metcalf. So question is, which one do I like more? I like Antonio Williams more myself. I do think we'd be very open to Zachariah Branch because he does provide that short range ability and we could tap into what he was.
If Arthur Smith was still there, that'd probably be a better pick.
Yeah. I mean, looking at Mike McCarthy's offense, I think Antonio Williams would. I mean, honestly, I don't really have a lot of faith in our coaching staff. I'll go Antonio Williams. I don't mind either pick. And so you choose whichever one you guys want, but I'll go Antonio Williams because I had him higher to start the year. And, I do think when healthy, he is phenomenal. So we'll go with him.
All right. Hold on to the seat of your pants here. This team needs more pass rush. It's just fact.
Keontae Scott. It's like, why not?
Crap. You got me. I'm going to go with Joshua Josephs. I liked him earlier in the year. Still waiting for him to test out. I just want to make sure that speed translates to athletically. He's still putting it together as a run defender, but I think he is a better run defender than people give him credit for. So we're gonna hopefully get another fast car here for the pass rush.
He fits perfectly into a Hassan Reddick role too. So
yes, exactly.
Like size wise, it's not going to be like, oh, you're going from a 260 down to a 240. Like it's pretty much a 240 for 240. All right, 78 Colts, Malachi Lawrence, first selection. Here at this selection, I freaking love this. Indiana loves this player as it is because he just brought him a natty, and it's a great Michael Pittman replacement. Elijah Surratt, wide receiver out of Indiana, is the selection here. 4-year contract. I think it's 4 for round 3 for a reliable wide receiver 2/3, which is the exact same role that you'd expect out of Pittman from this next year. And builds a balanced receiving core.
I mean, legitimately, that feels like the 1-for-1 replacement, right?
It literally feels like the exact role that Pittman kind of like. It's like, all right, reliable hands. Like, I mean, granted, his contested catch rate surprisingly is not phenomenal at 40%, but I mean,
that was just this year though, right?
Huh? Yeah, over his career, it's like over 60, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because I remember it being better last year,
which is so funny because Mendoza's more accurate, but on third downs, he has more touchdowns. He is lapped number 2 in the country for touchdowns.
Yeah. So the Atlanta Falcons took Ty Simpson, quarterback maybe of the future. Look at this wide receiver room. They have Zacchaeus and Dotson as potential wide receiver 2s.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay in the state of Georgia, and I'm gonna get Zachariah Branch, who is fast as hell and, I don't know, really good after the catch. What a compliment to Drake London, by the way.
I'm a fan also, former USC wide receiver, Zachariah Branch.
That's true.
To go a former USC receiver. So, number 80, Baltimore Ravens, Spencer Fano, Caleb Banks, the first selections. Keontae Scott sitting here. I'm like, why? I mean, it's just like, I want to find reasons to take him. This is not the team to do it. I'm just like, Sam Hesht is here. Solid mobility too. Honestly, I mean, last year the Bears in free agency ended up going crazy on their interior offensive line. You go Spencer Fano and Sam Hesht. Is that how you say it, Hesht?
I thought it was Heck.
Heck. You know what? I saw the CHT and said Hesht, but Hecht. Heck. What the heck? Anyways, you know what? I think the value is solid here. Declan Doyle definitely does not want an incomplete offensive line, and I personally don't think anything on the interior is going to stop me from doing this. What are your thoughts on taking him here at 80?
I have a bad stigma with him just because I hate Daniel Jeremiah's comp is Tanner Bortolini, and I really liked Tanner Bortolini, and I don't quite like Sam Heck that way. I don't think he's as athletic on the field as maybe.
You know what
was his testing?
I actually might back out of this and go Trey Zune.
His testing was all right. But it wasn't Tanner Bortolini testing.
No. I actually really like Trey Zune. He had one game at center, and it was a 96 pass blocking grade. So he obviously ended up shining in his role that he should be as a center. It tested out very well, extraordinarily well seasoned as well. I think as a center, he deserves to be a day 2 selection. I think he ends up being a day 3, but this is where you can start saying, hey, I really like this player. We're going to take him. Trey Zune, Spencer Fano, Caleb Banks, retool the trenches and bounce back.
All right. Well, where do you go from linebacker for the Jags?
Love it. So Josiah Trotter, the first selection for Jacksonville. God, there's Keontae Scott there. I'm like, I just want to take him so badly. I'm looking at Michael Trigg, and if he's healthy, this is like instantly a run-in type of pick situation. Like, I think that you're looking at the hands size, and you're just like the wingspan, the crazy catches, the after the catch ability that's not represented by his testing, and you might be really intrigued. I love Eli Raridan. You know this. I'm a sucker for Raridan. Do you think tight end is that big of a position for them to target here? Or do you think that there's other positions you'd want to go? Because I'm partially thinking Big Citrus, value-wise, is probably the best.
Ooh. Actually, Big Citrus won't be bad. My mind always goes to Jags fans believe in their safety room. I don't believe in their safety room outside of Antonio Johnson. But, I mean, you look at the interior. I don't know what Devon Hamilton's contract looks like coming up. Eric Armstead feels like he's going to be a dude that won't be with the team after next season. Mason Smith hasn't quite developed.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
God, that was a fun project to see. It just sucks that it failed. I'll go Big Citrus. I like that. Dom Orange out of Iowa State. He was somebody who had legit first round potential this year. Very weird system at Iowa State that I don't really know. We can see it. It's like a 1-to-1 translation, but they know how to train defensive linemen. And, if you see the potential, has the size, take the risk.
Shoot, man. You had to go center, huh?
I did.
That's messed up.
What do you mean?
I mean, I'm sitting here with the Vikings. I wouldn't mind a center.
Yeah. And there's still Hesht here, who you hate.
I don't hate him.
Damn it.
He is my next center off the board, if that makes you feel better. It's just, I don't like that. Oh, when's the next pick here for the Vikings? 97.
Just go Keontae Scott at this point. Just blitz him all the time.
Yeah, but they got Metlis.
I know they
or Metellus or whatever.
Well, they also he wouldn't be able to be on the field enough.
Yeah, I wish there was a running back I liked here. Honestly, I'd probably just take the running back at pick 97. So it's probably smart to go after the center. So, but I mean, dude, day 3 center class ain't bad.
No, but you don't always want to play that game.
Yeah, that's true.
The line that are starting, it's just like there's a certain part like, I don't know if I love that.
All right, we'll go with Sam Heck. He's not Tanner Bortolini, but honestly, had a pretty solid Senior Bowl. Honestly, if we're being fair, the centers in general, I thought did relatively well. Yeah, even when they were being manhandled, they kind of like die. They knew how to die a slow death. Which, if you're an almost undersized center. It's good to see.
That is a very true statement.
Yeah, Carolina Panthers, man. I'm still sitting here wishing there was a tackle I'd take.
Yeah, this is not the class for that. I mean, I did Demetrius Crownover for the Panthers as a developmental guy for a year. For a year under
yeah,
I don't know about that.
He's got tools. I get it. I mean,
I have a recommendation here. Oh, you like the defensive interior on this team. I was gonna throw out.
Okay, I'm not saying I don't like. Okay, listen, if we're gonna talk defensive interior, this is the bucket of guys I'm looking at. And if anything, I'd probably want the better pass rushers from this bucket, which takes Nick Barton right out of that. I like Nick Barton, but he's a run defender first. Chris McClendon is nice. He's got size. He was very effective on a very good defensive line. You could say the same about Grayson Holton, who a little undersized. He's coming at, I think he hit 300 at his pro day, which good on him. Wow. But 6'2", 300. Not ideal length. McClendon has 34-inch arms. He's got 6 more inches in terms of wingspan. Just not the athlete that Holton is, which if you're close to sub 300, yeah, you need to be a better athlete in that regard. I think McClendon would be on the field more, but they do have Bobby Brown there, who's a good rotation player, good enough. If you are looking to get rid of, was it Tershawn Wharton, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then it's the guy's probably Holton you're going for.
That would be the guy I would
be
superseding.
So there we go. We talked it out. We're going to take Grayson Holton.
There we go. Hell yeah. Now what are you going to do for Green Bay since you took Derek Moore earlier?
You know what's funny enough? I actually like defensive tackle for Green Bay too.
Yeah. Holton would have been actually not a bad choice.
Yeah. I mean, who do they bring? This team, they really liked TJ Slayton. Like, he might not be the sexiest player, but he played a role where he could just eat space in the middle there. They don't quite have that. They brought in Javon Hargrave. That's a cool Band-Aid. Have fun. Any other spots? Who did I take? I took an edge. Maybe I go corner? I don't think corner's actually a bad idea.
Gannon ended up... was that Gannon's year that they didn't draft really any corners under Gannon, but...
Oh, back in Arizona they did.
Well, I was saying that's because of course they did, because they had Denzel Burke, who was a former one, and then Will Johnson, who fell.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you go back to like Garrett Williams was a part of his. So I guess corner does make quite a bit of sense. I think I'm probably gonna go with someone from the state of Texas. So let's go with Malik Muhammad.
Okay.
I just think he's gonna be drafted over Charles Demons.
Fair enough. All right, Steelers. We've gone Ioane, Golday, and Williams. So figured out a lot of our needs. I don't know why running backs listed as a need on this team. We do a fantastic job.
I mean, y'all brought in Rico too.
I know. We get like the best value. God bless. So looking at it, did we get a boundary corner yet? No. I do think this is the range where you can get a developmental player. I'm not against that. Tackle-wise, again, it's like, ugh. Like really not the spot to go after a tackle, is it? I should have prepared a little bit more for this pick, but you know what? I don't think this team's against having Ramsey as the safety going forward.
If anything, I think that's what he's going to do.
Right. I'm going to go Keontae Scott. When BPA continues to fall into your lap, you just continue taking it. Let's go after somebody who is just going to continue making the most out of the situation.
All right. When life gives you lemons, then
we give A+ to the Steelers all the time in drafts. This does feel like something they would do.
Yeah.
All right, Chargers. Oh, I've got a run here too.
You got a little run here?
All right, Pregnon and Dunker, the first two selections. Okay. I ended up really going on the offensive line there. I do like the idea of going defensive interior, but I'd want more of a nose, and I don't really trust the value of a nose here. Shout out to Cole Brevard. I would be going that on day 3. So if I'm going to neglect nose, Alohi Gilman is out of the building. I'm going to go Bud Clark. I'm going BPA. I love Bud Clark. I love Cole Wisniewski as well. I love him more than Bud, but that's just too unrealistic. We're going to go Bud Clark and just say BPA all day. 87. Back with the Dolphins. We're going to have a couple more selections before the end too. Holy.
They got some picks. I really hope they move some of those picks.
Me too. Because we have Maui Noah, Concepcion, Chris Johnson, and Malachi Fields. All great selections in my opinion. All can actually get some legitimate reps off the bat, which is the goal. Could talk about a QB here if you wanted to. But I know that Jeff Hafley likes interceptions, and he knows the value of top-tier safety play. If you can handle Genesis Smith not being able to tackle an individual, I think his range and his ball skills are going to be a coveted skill set to basically be an Xavier McKinney coverage-wise. We're going to go Genesis Smith.
Hey, let's go.
You a fan of that?
My boy. Hey, I like Genesis Smith. Honestly, you could put a lot of guys at safety for us, and I think I'd be okay with it.
Fair enough. All right, Jaguars. We've already taken Josiah Trotter and Big Citrus at 88. Honestly, I wanted to look at Emmett Johnson, but I need a home run hitting capability because to me, I think Emmett Johnson doesn't really provide much more than LaQuint Allen because I just didn't trust LaQuint's long speed and everything else I love more than Emmett Johnson. And I feel like that's going to be the case. Mike Washington has too many fumbles for me to like really love him at this range, but he does have that home run hitting ability. I don't see a back like this I don't really think that Cohen is the type to maximize a back like Mike Washington. Otherwise, I'd be very into it. Damn. Where would you be looking for with this pick? Because also like safety, I do like Robert Spears Jennings to off.
Oh, really? You came around to him then, huh?
I did. I gotta see what my comp was, but he's a freak athlete.
He is a freak athlete. It's just I don't think it ever registered for him in coverage for like
he had some bad flip ups.
Yeah.
I liked him in the red zone though. For some reason, in the red zone he got better, but when he's not in the red zone, his coverage could be a little
I would pitch Kamari Ramsey.
I hate Kamari Ramsey.
You hate Ramsey?
I hate him. Like I think he's like one of my lowest, if not lowest, defensive back grade.
Oh, I think he's quality.
I'm in the minority. You're in the majority there. So, anyways,
a lot of people have him higher than this. So I'm
going Michael Trigg. Yeah, I know. I'm going Michael Trigg. So tight end out of Baylor. We're gonna take the potential there and just hope that the testing was just a horrible judgment call. And
so how do you go from Trigg or talking about Raritan and then go on Trigg?
Reality. Like it I don't think Raritan goes above Trigg. So I think both fit. I'm gonna go with the one that represents reality a little bit closer.
Okay.
I don't want to give people like a curveball that is unrealistic.
Okay.
Is that fair?
I was gonna say you took Mansour Delane at 6, bro.
But that is a possibility.
Yeah,
they do want to corner in the first 3 picks. So it's like, okay, we shifted around a little bit. Player's still valuable enough. We were talking about him at 5.
Yeah. So I'm actually gonna go guard with this pick for the Chicago Bears. Okay. Just because Tooney's up there in years. Jonah Jackson's okay. Coming off decent year though.
Great year.
But I'm gonna go with Jalen Farmer. I've talked to you about how I feel about Jalen Farmer, who I feel he's like. Hopefully better rookie season by means of developing behind 2 already established guards.
Fair enough. And at this point of the draft, guys, it's not a guarantee. You should not only be looking for pure starters. This is where you want to see like, hey, who's going to actually benefit my team the most over their contract? And, guys like this definitely could. You're
looking down the road and you're looking to become cheaper at some positions.
Right. So Dolphins, we've picked a lot. I'm not going to go over it again, but we just picked up Genesis Smith. A lot of good players regardless.
One more pick to come.
Honestly speaking, I'm very open to a reliable tight end like Sam Baruch who can block. Open as well to Eli Raritan here because I just think Michael Trigg would go over him, but like early 4s where I think Eli Raritan will become a legitimate thought. Like he is a reliable route runner. took a step up. I think he's a good option here and has the after the catch ability to where I think he's very underrated. Probably again early day 3. We'll take him here late day 2.
Yeah,
I just couldn't do it in good conscience with Trig.
Because what the Dolphins, they have Dulcich. That's
tight end's very much a need for this team,
Yeah.
and this is the sweet spot for it. Like early third or late third, early 4th round, a lot of good value. All right, Bills, we're back. Jacob Rodriguez, the first selection. I'm happy because this is honestly, there's a lot of very solid players here, and I love this player for a Jim Leonard defense. Jayshon Barham, edge out of Michigan.
Hey.
I freaking love it. He's an absolute animal. Former linebacker. Loved him in his true freshman
Was
year at
coached
Maryland.
by Navarro Bowman.
There you go. But he is a savage. He has shorter arms, but again, not a problem in the Leonard defense. Even though he's not as much of a pass rusher, he still registered a 13% pass rush win rate, which is an upper quartile, like top 25%. 12.8% run stop rate per PFF, which is among edges with 300 or more snaps, which is like 95th or higher. So this is a guy where you're at number 91. You're hoping he continues to develop that pass rush skill set. But this is an undersized, but yet still early down defender. That sounds great to me. And because he's a linebacker, he has better coverage than a lot of guys who have never really polished in that area.
Yeah, speaking of linebacker, Dallas Cowboys would appreciate a linebacker. And there's 2 guys I'm between, and I think I'm going to go with the guy that I think is just
right down the road.
Right down, yeah, exact. Wait, no, not right down the road. Maybe right down the road to Dylan Thiemann, but that was the other guy I was thinking of. You're right, in Elam's Orr, which I think, I think he's very toolsy.
Okay,
but I trust Bryce Betcher to just come in and he's going to be all over the place. He's going to make tackles. His ceiling, or I don't want to say ceiling, I think he could be Alex Singleton like that. He can be just reliable linebacker. And if you are the Cowboys, you need a reliable linebacker. So,
fair enough.
Yeah.
Brings the energy too.
Yeah. But hey, dude, to be fair, that was the other guy I was considering.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think either option would be like horrible. I don't have Bryce as a day 2 guy, but like, again,
we're at the back end of the first round. That's where I have these guys. Or back end of the 3rd round, excuse me.
93, dude. What are you doing for the Rams?
I think I'm going to get my backup quarterback of the future.
Ooh.
And I'm going to take Garrett Nussmeier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think out of the guys now left on the board, he's the one that I could see starting games in the NFL, even if he ends up not being a top 10, top 12 quarterback in the NFL. I think not off, maybe off the rip, he could maybe start some games for you, maybe win some games for you, but I do think he's going to be a high-end backup in the NFL. There might be some starting capabilities as maybe a second half of the league type of starter.
Fair enough. Okay. Dolphins. One of the positions I really regret not drafting is edge. Getting some extra edge talent for this team.
Dude, yeah. There's a lot of...
But a lot of these guys are just day 3. Like, that's the problem. Like, as much as we like to hype up this edge class, we do take a lot of them very early. And it's like LT Overton's a weird tweener. Didn't test
I was going to say
well.
that, he's a tweener that's like...
Right.
He's so scheme specific.
Right. And it's like Kieron Crawford. I love him. This is probably the range where I would start considering him, but it's like still a pure edge 2 from a very, very weird system. Like, we took Eli Raridan, like, could just look at best player available at this point. Even like looking at Mike Washington and then having a big, heavy hitting running back, home run hitter, just like Achane, but just like definitely a much different build. Like, sometimes it's worth taking that type of speed. What are your thoughts if you take Mike Washington here?
Oh, I mean, we have Ollie Gordon. If I'm a Dolphins fan, I'm so done with them investing in a running back.
Fair enough. Okay.
I'm sitting here screaming, hey, if we're going to trade Jalen Waddle, then trade Achane.
I'm not against that. I'm honestly not. You know
I'm for
what?
it. 100%. Send it to the moon.
Trade him away. You know what? I'm trying
We're
to
gonna
see.
end up paying him anyway.
I don't mind the idea of taking a quarterback here. I know it's not popular, but I'm going to still go Mike Washington. The dude tested in the 4.3s at 230 damn near pounds. And he was really electric at the Senior Bowl. So if he can fix up his fumbling issue, there's a chance you actually get something here. And at late 3, with how many picks we've done, again, this should be traded away. I'm perfectly fine with that. Fair?
Yeah. I don't love it, but it's one of their many third-round picks. Take a shot. If you're going to take a shot on a guy, you better be built and move like that.
Yeah. Okay. So New England, weird spot. But honestly, how do you feel about their linebacker situation? Because I definitely think it could be upgraded.
Oh yeah, I agree. I agree 100%.
So the players I'm between is Caleb Elam's or an Aiden Fisher. Personally, I think Aiden Fisher is phenomenal. There's Dane Brugler talked about a lot of teams having top 100 grades on him. He has top 100 for me. Or is the ceiling pick. I think you'd agree with that, right? The
100%.
ceiling pick. I don't think this team's looking for ceiling. I want veteran, day one presence. Also, he's good as a Sam backer, so he's good for blitzing. I'm going to go Aiden Fisher, linebacker out of Indiana.
Hey, Mr. Aiden Fisher. Dude, actually, Indiana's got quite the linebacker core heading back there next year, too.
Oh, yeah.
Man, we got the Seattle Seahawks. We got R. Mason Thomas. We got Avion Terrell. I feel like I have to go running back.
Yeah.
Because, Zach Charbonnet, he's not expected to be back. Well, yeah, he would have been. But Charbonnet is not expected to be back because it was a late ACL, right?
Yeah.
So, hey, if you're an Emmanuel Wilson dynasty owner, congratulations, I guess.
Until Emmett Johnson comes into the equation.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm stuck between
Jonah and Emmett.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think they both work out well just because of their pass catching upsides. Both are kind of I think Jonah Coleman's a better dog as a pass blocker, but
yeah,
I think Johnson's fine.
Okay.
Dang, dude, that's rough. I'm gonna have to pick. Jeez. Jonah Coleman's my dude. You keep him in Washington. Washington State, that is.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go with Coleman.
Nice.
And fun fact, with the Minnesota Vikings, I'm gonna take Emmett Johnson.
You did, you mother trucker. What if they brought him in for a top 30 as well? If you took Emmett Johnson for the Seahawks, would you take Jonah Coleman for the Vikings?
I think I would be compelled to because I have Coleman's still RB3 for me.
Okay.
So it's just I kind of have him at the back end range. I really wish he tested out, but I get it.
Yeah.
I understand why he didn't.
This is your last pick, my friend.
This is. Golly. And then you have just like it feels like you've been on the clock forever in this draft. Like you've been
you're having 3 picks back to back to back.
I know, but it always feels like you get like the 4 to 5 picks back to back.
It's true.
Yeah. So Philadelphia Eagles, we got Rutledge, we got Howe, we got McCoy. I think I do want to bring in a safety though. I really do. The guys in this range for me, oh gosh.
For a strong safety, it's pretty rough unless you have faith in Wisniewski.
If Makuba can stay healthy, he can play strong. He's got that. Dude, he's a missile, bro.
He's 180 pounds.
I said if he could stay healthy. But he's got that mentality.
You think Makuba can play strong at 180? Come on.
No, he can play strong. The question is, how long can he play strong?
I think he likes to play with a strong mentality. but not like a strong safety.
No, he'll flourish around the box
As a free.
for like 10 games.
Well, he doesn't last anyways as a free, so.
All right, so you're telling me Jalen Kilgore. Dang it, dude. No.
I freaking love Kilgore as like a pure safety, not as a slot.
Yeah, I like him in the box too.
The Eagles. I freaking love him to the Eagles.
Yeah, my only alternative would be taking a shot on one of these tackles, and I don't think I'm doing that.
Yeah, so I mean over Cam Williams too. That's like the.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we're gonna go with Jalen Kilgore.
I actually really like that. You act like it's such a defeated move. I'm like,
it's
Jalen Kilgore's.
It's not. I'm more defeated about my Makuba take.
Yeah, I was like, you wanted to be strong safety. It's not. I love Makuba. I love him. But.
The question is not that can he play strong. It's like how long can he play strong. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
dude.
Fair enough.
Dude, pound for pound, that's a strong dude.
He is. I love his energy. I would say that's why he probably got drafted at that high. Okay, so Steelers took Yowane, Golday, Williams, and Scott. All players who are like respectable. I think nothing that's going to be franchise changing.
It's a way to talk about your draft class. This is respectable.
I mean, again, you think about it. There's some drafts that feel like it's star-studded. Some of them that feel like it's just really like you're kind of filling in the gaps, but with good value.
So yeah, this is one of the draft classes you would bring home and invite, like meet your parents.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? Yowane, great guard. Golday, great linebacker, assuming Queen shipped off. Williams, really great compliment.
Scott, he's getting released. No one's buying that.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. But then Scott, like someone who's going to be a great physical presence there and even could be a safety presence. So, like, again, all players who should have immediate roles, I'm not against it. But honestly, I love this fit, and it does bring the skill set that we don't really have at a position of need. I'm looking at Drew Aller. I mean, it's worth taking a shot at. And again, we have so many picks. It is getting to the point where it's like, send one off. But Aller, if he does hit his ceiling, is very much worth a first-round pick. The problem is there's a very large chance he doesn't. So we're going to go with the guy, big size, used to the cold elements, and really good arm. Just needs to, see if he can end up working as a passer.
Okay. I got a suggestion for this last pick.
Tell me.
I don't know. I still believe in Brian Thomas.
Okay.
But maybe he gets moved. Even if he doesn't, they
get Jacoby.
And they tried something with Yami. So maybe Bryce Lance or Derzon Striblin, potential like field stretchers. I think Striblin has a little bit more to his game.
I feel like Striblin would be something they would do in like round 4 or 5.
Yeah,
I like that just feels like a solid range for them to take a shot. I am very interested in Bryce Lance, though. He did test out phenomenally well. He's a day one ready player, too. That's the thing. He's very seasoned. He's old.
Bro, you want to talk about how Lance tested out? Striblin wasn't far.
No, he wasn't. I'm going to go with Lance.
Yeah, that's
yeah, I think that if you're going to be going for somebody who could be a day one impact I think Stribling took like 3,000 snaps or something like that. So he's able to do it too. But Lance statistically is phenomenal. He has that breakaway speed on tape. It's definitely something where, you want to have someone who's that reliable on your squad.
Oh, buddy.
We did it.
What a video. You know what's funny? Our 7-round mock draft's probably going to be much shorter than this.
Yep. The video.
We're just going over draft classes, but
yep.
Hey, you got to hear our rationale. You got to hear us talk through picks, have some fun, some good chatter. So this will be a good podcast you could just listen to for 3 hours while you're working or studying or something. But Alex, you want to go ahead and give a quick shout out to the people that are still listening?
If you guys are still listening, I highly doubt that you're not subscribed to both of us. So we love you anyways. And obviously you make this job worth it. But if you guys are not already subscribed, feel free to come over. We make very, very similar content. That's why we talk all the time. That's why we like to do work together, is like we just have very similar passions and we like to do similar content. So yeah, come hang out. Also, feel free to go over to X too. I end up posting over there all the time.
Yeah, come on over. The water is warm. But as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.